Okay, you know what we got to do? We got to get the other platform going. So bear with me for a minute, if you will. Uh, okay. All right. Let's see here. Good evening, there, Jake. Welcome to the program. We'll be up momentarily. In fact, let me stop my that Fox playing in the background. And who else is in there? I think there's Ozzy. Some of you folks, good evening. Welcome to the program. Let me go ahead and fire up the other live streams momentarily. And I should be live in less than a minute here. So we just want to make sure we get everything in here. I don't know why that's not doing, what do you call it, word wrap or whatever. But we'll just make it happen regardless. So as everybody is getting to filter in the program. Good evening, handsome conservative. I'm just going to say it now. It's all bullshit. Everything that everybody is saying on your show tonight is bullshit. Support your local liberal. You don't even know what they're going to say, conservative. Oh my God. Everything that they're going to say tonight on the program is bullshit. Oh my Lord, bless your heart. Well, I need to get you back up here, conservative. You go ahead and put a request in. I'll make you first. I want you to set the audience straight. If it's bullshit, we're on Clapper, Instagram, TikTok, Substack, and YouTube. So if it's bullshit, I need you to come up here and specify what actually is bullshit because I'm not aware of that. Anyway, good evening, folks. It is indeed your boy, the handsome liberal. And I just want to say good evening to all you folks. We're going to go ahead and kick the program off. It looks like there's been in fact, there's a bunch of things I want to run by you folks, but the main one you see on the monitor behind me is that Trump's what the hell's going on with Substack here? Trump's slush fund has been blocked. What is the slush fund? That's that $1.776 billion that he was going to supposedly pay out to members of, I'm about to say Black Lives Matter, members of the, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, Three Percenters, the folks who were going to, the folks who stormed the Capitol building and other, I suppose, other various allies of President Trump. But it does look like they've stopped that. We'll go into it, and like I said, we got several different topics I want to run by you, but this certainly is one of them.
President Trump's anti weaponization fund is now facing several setbacks. A federal judge temporarily blocked further action on the nearly $1.8 billion pool of cash. Senate Democrats are set to introduce a measure to kill that fund today. The so-called Drain the Slush Fund Act would prevent taxpayer dollars from being paid to the president and his allies. Both Democrats and Republicans have criticized the fund, and that includes President Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence. On Face the Nation, Pence slammed the potential compensation for Capitol rioters.
Now, of course, Mike Pence ain't gonna like it. Trump don't treated him like shit. But you heard what they're calling it? The Democrats are calling this the Drain the Slush Fund. And obviously that's a dig at Trump's Drain the Swamp, which Trump promised to drain the swamp, and then he does something like this, which is very swampy indeed. But Trump promised to drain the swamp, and now here he is creating a slush fund for his allies that is, almost worth $2 billion. So that sounds like just the opposite of drain the swamp. I don't want to play too much of Mike Pence, because I did see it live, but I do want you to hear a little bit of him criticizing this.
Creating a fund that could compensate people who assaulted police officers and vandalized the Capitol that day is totally unacceptable. My hope is the administration will drop the idea entirely.
Rupa Bhattacharya.
And that's Mike Pence. I don't get why this is viewed. I don't get why MAGA is not yelling out that this is unacceptable. When you think about what the people did that may get some of that money, I don't see why the outcry from MAGA is not stronger. Now there are some MAGA that do not believe people who are on video beating up cops should get paid. But there's also plenty of MAGA that are in favor of it. I don't understand that from what is allegedly the law and order party. We hear liberals getting criticized all the time for being too soft on crime. Not only did he pardon these guys, he's going to pay them. He's going to actually pay them cash. And MAGA's pretty damn quiet on it. So it is what it is. Handsome Conservative says, I will be outraged and complain and protest after I get my check. Then you're not being genuine. You're not being genuine. But in addition to that, I do want to talk to you about a few other things. This one here is startling. This falls along the line of we obliterated. Remember, we were being told how we obliterated the program in Iran, and how Trump is talking about how everything's destroyed and there's virtually nothing left of their military and things like that. Here's something that is now coming out that apparently is being viewed by satellite photo that you're not hearing as much of it, but CNN said this, and take that with a grain of salt. But I want you to hear this. This is the voice is AI, but there's plenty of different news sources saying this. I want you to hear what's being said here, even though the voice saying it is AI.
The bombs fell, the tunnels were sealed, and many believed Iran's missile network had suffered a devastating blow. But new intelligence is raising alarm bells in Washington and beyond, because Iran appears to be rebuilding far faster than anyone expected. According to CNN report, Iran has successfully reopened the majority of its underground missile facilities that were previously damaged or blocked during US and Israeli military operations. And the speed of the recovery is catching intelligence officials by surprise. The report indicates that roughly 50 out of 69 tunnel entrances linked to Iran's underground missile network have already been restored to operation. These are not ordinary military sites. They are part of a vast underground infrastructure built over decades, hidden beneath mountains, protected by reinforced concrete, and designed specifically to survive airstrikes. The facilities form a critical component of Iran's ballistic missile force, allowing missiles, launchers, fuel systems, and command centers to operate from deeply buried locations. Military planners have long viewed these complexes as one of the most difficult targets in the Middle East.
This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing, and it's believable because there is satellite imagery that backs it up. 50 out of 69 tunnel entrances into the mountains have been reopened. In some cases, they've even repaved the roads in front of them. Now, all of the ordnance, all the weapons are deep inside the mountain. And I suppose you could drop a bunch of Moabs, mother of all bombs, and take out some of the mountain. But mountain is very difficult to destroy with weapons. If you're deep inside of a fucking mountain, even a mountain can survive nuclear attacks. If you're deep enough inside of a mountain, it'll survive even a nuclear strike. So they were smart, and I guess to some degree you can't blame them. It's not like they haven't had years to anticipate that we wanted to attack them. Virtually every president before Trump, for all of our lifetime, has been talking about potentially, at the very least, stopping Iran from getting a nuclear bomb and at least flirting with attacking them. So it ain't like they didn't know this might be coming eventually. So they put all their shit deep in the mountain. Think about it this way, though. Each one of those entrances, 50 different entrances out of 69. They had 69 different entrances. You can see on satellite photo, 59 have been reopened. Or 50 out of 69. So there are only 19, I suppose, that are still closed. Here's what I want you guys to think about. Think about how much money we spent blowing up the entrance to each one of those. If we stopped 69 different entrances into the mountains, each one of those is probably going to be hit by multiple bombs or multiple guided missiles. Each one of those, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to shut this entrance up. And they were able to open it up in less than a few months. and get it back up and running. And there's a good chance that most of the equipment inside of there hasn't been touched. Most of the stuff that's deep in that mountain, the chances are that strike didn't touch any of that shit. All it did is put a bunch of rubble in the entrance, and they were able to just come in with a bulldozer, remove the rubble, and the rest of that shit inside of there is probably fairly untouched. So we spent tons of money to essentially create a few piles of rubble that they could easily bulldoze and remove, which will lead to the obvious question. The only way you're going to stop this is to put boots on the ground and have special forces or an actual military personnel go inside of there and literally physically destroy that shit. They would have to literally put boots on the ground. They would have to go inside the mountain and really tear up what's in there. You know, all of this stuff is going to require loss of life on our side, loss of life on our side, because you don't know what's hidden in the mountain. Booby traps. It could be all kinds of hidden sentries and AI, or automated weaponry like what they have in the Ukraine. We don't know what's in those mountains. So I'm asking, do you believe we should put boots on the ground to actually go in there and physically clear this stuff up? Now, keep in mind, this is not nuclear stuff that's in there. This is just their regular missiles and defense stuff. We don't want them even having long-range conventional weapons that could hit U.S. targets. Good chance they probably already have that. So do you favor putting boots on the ground to go in there and tear this shit up hand to hand? And like I said, you would absolutely have KIA. You would have American casualties putting boots on the ground to do that because you just don't know what's on the ground. And in the comments real quick, somebody said Obama can fix it. Well, I'll tell you this, user. This looks to be worse than what was happening under Obama, because Trump is also on record now flirting with giving them cash to rebuild their country and all of that. So remember Obama giving them piles of cash? It looks like we could end up going full circle and kind of getting back a deal similar to what Obama had that Trump ripped up. But I want you to hear a little bit more. Before we do, Evil B by Boo, thank you for your support indeed. Good afternoon, everybody. The man that puts the beat to the song, okay? The man that puts the beat to the song, the man who is great on prime time YouTube and TikTok. The man who knows everything. This is good shit. A man who is scared as a mouse when it comes to religion, faith, greasy man Tim. I'm not afraid of religion. We tackle religious subjects. I'm going to point out that some of it doesn't make sense. I'm going to point out where it's illogical, but we don't run from religion, evil. Thank you for your support, by the way. And I certainly like the opening. So before we start taking callers and getting the show on, and by the way, tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok. Get the likes on up, if you will. Couple more things I want to run by you. First of all, being that in regards to Iran, they're begging for a ceasefire. Listen to where the Trump administration is now.
What can you tell us?
Kelly, that's right. I called President Trump a short time ago, and he picked up to talk about the negotiations over the weekend with the Iranians. We had this report at the top of the day today that the Iranians were actually breaking off negotiations with the United States. That moved oil markets. And so that's what I asked the president about. I said, do you think the negotiations are over now, or is this a bluff by the Iranians? The president said, I don't care if they're over, honestly. I really don't care. I couldn't care less. If they're over, they're over. If they're not, I think they took too much time. Frankly, I think they started to get a little boring. The president said he thinks that the Iranian side was tapping us along. That is, that they were stalling for time.
Now, and I agree with Trump on this. You don't hear me say that a lot, but I do agree with Trump that the Iranians are stalling. I do believe that the Iranians know that there is little desire in America to have another long, drawn-out war. Now, I think Trump would have no problem putting boots on the ground and deal with whatever casualties that come out of it. But he knows his people, talking about President Trump, he knows the American people do not want that. The American people do not want to hear about KIAs in Iran every damn day. But I think if it was left up to Trump, and I think he actually wants to do it, but he knows he would literally gut the Republican Party with this. But you hear Trump say they're stalling. I agree with this 100%. But guess what this coincides with? Trump's been saying since day one that the Iranians have been begging for a ceasefire. Begging for a ceasefire. They want us to stop. We're killing them. We won on day one. Their navy's at the bottom of the ocean. We're just making them pay. We can fly all over Tehran. There's nothing they can do. We can fly. We can control the airspace, everything. We're just gods of war. Well, now that he's admitting they're stalling, that goes against everything he was saying at first. They clearly are not begging for a ceasefire. They're clearly not being beaten down the way Trump was making it sound. The fact that he is now admitting they're stalling and they are the ones that broke off negotiations makes it clear they're not anywhere near as afraid of Trump as the Trump administration has been leading us to believe. Trump has threatened to annihilate them on multiple occasions. Multiple occasions. He's talked about a whole civilization will cease to exist and we're going to bomb them to the Stone Age. Trump has used some really big fucking rhetoric. And the other side is like, well, we don't want to talk right now. That makes it clear that the Iranians are not afraid of us. I think this is about as clear as you can get that what Trump has been making it sound like we're just dominating the talks and they're begging for mercy. That stuff was based on nothing. Nothing. It's clear he's been, look, say what you want, whether you favor Trump, whether you don't like Trump. I'm talking strictly about his conversation in regards to this war. It's pretty clear he has been misleading us in regards to the mindset of the Iranians. We're 3+ months in, and they just walked away from negotiations. They're not begging for a ceasefire, and they don't sound like a country that feels like that they're at their wits' end. He's admitting that now by saying there's stuff. If we were beating the shit out of them, why would they want to stall and potentially let more go on? In fact, they're firing at our ships and shit right now too. America and Iran has exchanged fire recently. Once again, how are they exchanging fire with the United States if they have no military? Their navy's at the bottom of the ocean and all that. So I want you to understand what is actually happening versus what Trump has been saying. They clearly do not match. That country is clearly not as dilapidated and weakened as Trump has been telling us since day one. If you've seen any of those Lego videos, if you haven't, I would suggest you go back and look at some of them. Anyway, looking in the box, or better yet, continuing on, take two, ladies and gentlemen, the host with the most, the man with a plan, the GOAT, really, on TikTok. Put your hands together for the handsome liberal. I'll accept that. Did I make a mistake and bring somebody up? But thank you, handsome conservative. But yeah, I'm just going to simply say it makes it clear that Trump has been overstating his successes in Iran. I don't think there's any other way to look at that. This is, and I see handsome conservative says this is what happens when we take our troops over there and sit on our phones instead of going in. Yeah, I agree with that. But if we had a one in conservative, there would probably be at least 100 KIA right now. At least 100. And like I said, I don't think America has the stomach after the Iraq war happening so recently. I think the problem with Trump is his hands are kind of tied. There's already a large portion of people in this country that don't think that we should have even started this war to begin with. And that's without many casualties. I think we got maybe 13, the original 13 that perished or whatever, and there's a few injuries. But if you literally start having 5-10 people dying a day, it's going to get worse. The amount of pressure to end it is going to get worse if people start dying. I think the only reason why it hasn't been substantially worse is because there's a large portion of people that's been believing the bragging Trump is doing. You know, yeah, we at war, but we over there kicking their ass and sinking all their ships. Ain't nobody dying. And people have been believing what he's been saying. But now that he's admitting that Iran is in no hurry to end this, it's pretty clear what he's been saying is not true. Democrats give us deflation, says user. Fair enough. Timmy Tim, I thought your president was the master negotiator. What happened? I don't believe he ever was a master negotiator. I'll go ahead and start taking calls. Tap the screen. I need y'all to get the likes up to 10,000, if you will, on TikTok. Trump is known for the phrase, the art of the deal. I'm going to tell you, based on my analysis, I don't know where the fuck that came from. I do not know where that's come from. Trump has been president almost 6 years. Trump has had the job of U.S. president for almost 6 years now. I can't think of many great deals that he's negotiated. Trump, for the most part, operates under a might is right platform. I can kick your ass, so you just got to do this. That's not negotiating. That's using your might to make shit happen. He didn't negotiate with Maduro to step down in Venezuela. He's not negotiating with Cuba. It's pretty much you do what I want and we're going to kick your ass. That's not negotiating. I'm not aware that he's a master negotiator on any level. There's very little negotiation that I can think of. I'm assuming he has negotiated a deal or two here somewhere. But out of his nearly 6 years as president, I can't think of many negotiated deals, bipartisan deals that Trump is responsible for. It's just been him saying, I'm in charge, we're going to do this. In the comments, Jack says, stop blaming Biden and the Democrats. He owns all of this. Well, Biden has nothing to do with the war in Iran. He absolutely owns the war in Iran. I suppose you could certainly put some of the blame of the immigration mess on Biden. I'm willing to entertain that for certain. But this war in Iran, this is Biden. This is Trump. There's no other way to spin that. Real happy to be here, guys. Thank you, says Wazowski. We're happy to have you here as well. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. We'll go straight to Lewis. I don't know what's going on TikTok, but I don't think we're banned or shadow banned, but the numbers are exceptionally low. We may have to switch platforms. Lewis, good evening.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, but I don't know why the hell TikTok is acting like this. But what do you think? How do you view the war, the excursion, the conflict, whatever the hell the Trump administration wants to call it? How do you view this as going so far?
It's a lose. It's a loss. I think Trump is just trying to figure out a way to get out of this. It's obvious that even if he did leave right now, Israel would be annihilated, because I think all those little Muslim nations are going to attack them from both sides. That's just what I believe, and I think they know that. So there's no way out. There's no way to just turn around and leave. You have to be able to now accept something, because there's no way you could just turn around and leave.
Well, I do want to
get... America grows very thin.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you...
on putting boots on the ground.
Before I ask you this question of what you would do as an advisor, what I want to ask you in the comments, because you do get some Trump supporters that view it differently. For instance, Burning47 in the comments suggests that we are winning in Iran. Just looking at it from the other side, what do you think is leading them to have such a difference of opinion than you do on this war? Because he believes we're winning currently.
They're either rich or stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing, we're definitely losing here in America, and pretty much all over the rest of the world is losing also because of this.
Explain why you say it. How are we losing in America? By what metric are we losing in America?
Because you haven't even felt the real price increases of the oil embargo over there now. It's coming next month. They say it won't get here till probably the end of June, or about the end of June, beginning of July is when we'll really feel the impact of, because we run out of the oil that we have, and we need to bring in more of that junk from over there. You know what I'm saying? Before we start using our reserves. Only way we're going to survive this without doing that is if Trump open the reserves back up again.
Well, now the price of oil just in May, last month now because it's June 1st, but May saw the price of oil drop. Gas has went down about 30-40 cents a gallon in many places.
Well, but these guys can rate. they can raise it. See, that's part of what I think Trump's strategy is. That's how he increased the value of his stockholders, is by raising and lowering things, the stock market, the oil. I think he's playing with that market to benefit his friends.
Yep.
Trust me, because soon as there's been no deal made, and Iran say they're locking back down the strait. So now watch the oil prices go right back up.
How do you think that? How do you think, or for what reason? I mean, we are a significantly more powerful nation militarily than Iran. How is it that they're able to just basically give us the middle finger and do whatever the hell they want? Should Trump, as handsome conservative said, go in, boots on the ground, and make this right?
You're not going to make it right. See, that's a fool who hasn't ever been over in that big sandbox. If we go into Iran, it's going to be worse than anything you've ever seen over there before.
In what way?
In what way? The terrain? We're not prepared for that. They've had 47 years to prepare for this ground attack that they think is coming. 47 years. And they already know that these people have 70% of their ground artillery and stuff still active.
You know, I think to some degree, nowhere near to this level, because Iran is a much, much, much bigger country. But Cuba's also probably had some time to prepare. I don't think they would be able to really stop us. But we've been announcing that we want to attack these countries for so long. Like you mentioned with Iran, they've had to know between America and Israel that eventually they may get invaded. So you're right. I'm assuming they have prepared.
The United States can't do anything in Cuba like what they did in Iran. They probably could do something like that, what they did in Venezuela in Cuba, but they can't bomb Cuba. Let's just be for real.
Why you say that?
They can't airstrike Cuba.
Why you say that?
Because we have too many people here that are attached to people that are over there. We'd be killing Americans' family members.
You think Trump would care about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think Rubio would care about that. I think what's the guy named in Texas?
Greg, the governor? Oh, you talking about Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is Cuban also. Everybody forget that. They tried to make themselves white tea, but they're Cubans.
Well, when you factor in the way we're treating Cuban immigrants now, Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio didn't do shit for them. I mean, we're treating Cuban immigrants now are being treated just as bad as Haitians and Mexicans and all the rest of them.
Here's your thing, brother. Here's your thing. You have two kinds of Cubans, just like you have two kinds of Americans, black and white. Those dark-skinned Cubans, they don't care nothing about them. We talking about them light-skinned, white-looking Cubans. That's what people don't understand. That country is embedded just like Puerto Rico. They have light, dark-skinned people in their own family.
But do you think? So you think the Cubans are racist toward the lighter or darker Cubans?
It's classism, absolutely. It's just like Tim. We do that in our community.
Yeah, no shit.
Have you noticed that?
The red bones and the high yellow get treated better.
Did you know that most of those FBAs are light-skinned people, and that's why they're hating on the African immigrants that are coming over here saying they're black?
No, I didn't know that.
That's classism.
Yeah.
Look at Tariq Nasheed, the guy who started the FBA crap. Look how light he is. Most of the FBA guys that you see talking a lot of junk. I'm not saying there's not some dark ones too. You know, we always have fools that follow the wrong people. But no, hint, Tim.
I ain't following shit. I'm an interviewer. I ain't following shit. I got my wits about me.
I'm just messing with you because you kind of got a lot of melanin.
I'm dark than a motherfucker, but I know the situation. Put it like that. I know the deal. I'm not pretending.
Let me say this to you, and you explain this to them. That I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm an independent. I've voted both ways my whole life. Here lately, since Trump got in office, I mostly have always leaned so far left that I don't even see the right anymore.
Ooh.
Because and the only reason that I vote Democrat is because the Democrats are more progressive like me. And that's why I vote for them, because they're progressive, not because they're Democrats, because their agenda is a progressive agenda. It's a more accepting agenda. It's a more inclusive agenda. It's a more, that's the biggest problem with the Democratic Party. They got too many mouths to feed.
Yeah, I've been saying that from the get-go, is that it's much harder to be a Democrat politician than a Republican politician, because you do have to give all them different people a seat at the table. The Republican Party, for the most part, straight Christian white males are at the table, and everybody else that's not a straight white Christian male, they sound just like them. They're not like, there are issues. There are issues that concern the Hispanic community. There are issues that concern the black community. There are issues that concern the LGBTQ community. There's issues that concern the Muslim community. When you look at the Republican Party, the members of those groups are not talking about any of those fucking issues. They're talking the same stuff that the straight white Christian male is talking. Tim Scott is not complaining about systemic racism.
Right now, Tim.
Yeah.
Right now, if you are a Republican politician, all you need to know is make America great. Lock her up. You need 4-line words. That's all you got to do is keep saying those 4 words. You ain't got
Well, lock her up ain't gonna
just
happen.
keep saying those.
There's nobody expecting Hillary Clinton to still get locked up, is it?
It'll be lock up somebody else. Lock
Yeah.
up Como.
Yeah.
It's just you just gotta have those 4 little. You don't have to have no big platform. It just has to be simple and to the point. It's just simple. Where with a Republican, a Democratic politician, he's got to be worrying about the LGBTQ. He's got to be worrying about Palestinian people. He's got to be worrying about the Bernie bros. He got to be worried about the super progressives.
But you said You said you are progressive, right?
I'm definitely leaning more toward being even more progressive than I always been.
Because one of my viewers pointed out that he stated that you said, I'm an independent, but I vote left because I am progressive, which he's saying that when you look at the scale, you got far right, you got conservative, you got center, you got Democrats, then you got progressive. Progressives are kind of like the far left. An independent is not normally progressive, is what he said.
And some of the progressives are so far left that they touching the right. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, like with the Israeli thing. With the Israeli thing, the far right and the far left agree.
They came so far circle that they pretty much touching hands on the other side and don't even know who hands.
It ain't much that the far left and the far right agree on.
No, it's not much. But what I'm saying though is that they both sound as far away from me, who's not on either one of those sides, as each other do. They both can go too far. Like me, I'm kind of scared of I never liked Bernie. Bernie and AOC are about as progressive as you can get on the left. Let's just be for real. They got a big platform, and they've even got Madani in there now. And I'm not saying that boy's doing a bad job. And tell all those fools that don't live in New York to stop talking shit. I'm telling you, most of my friends that live in New York, they love that man. Trust me on that. They loving it.
I talked to a conservative viewer yesterday, and I said the same thing. From what I can tell, Mamdani is doing a good job. The overwhelming criticism of Mamdani is coming from non-New Yorkers.
Absolutely. And people that's from other states. Yep. That man even went to another state and borrowed some money to take them out of the red.
Yeah. So
how clever is that? At a much lower interest rate, if they just kept letting it just calculate on their own tilly. So this guy, that was smart.
Yeah. I don't see until I see otherwise.
Let's just face it. New York City, because of its diversity, needs a progressive platform. They definitely need a progressive platform in that city because that city is so diverse. There's just so many ethnicities.
What about a Democrat platform? What about a Democrat? You don't have to be progressive. You can be Democrat.
Well, I think a Democratic platform is progressive. It's not ultimate progressive, but it's always Democrats have always been the ones trying to get lower health free health care. They've
Yeah.
always been the ones trying to get gay marriage. They've always been the ones who are trying to do all the stuff that's so far right that it kind of freaks you out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Tim, I lean left, but I don't think men should be able to participate in women's sports.
Okay.
But it is such a small percentage of people the percentage is less than 1% of people that actually do that.
Yeah.
So it's not even worth talking about. I mean, hell, if you're worried about a transgender going into your bathroom, how about let's just have single bathrooms where only one person can go in at a time anyway?
Well, my take is
You know what I'm
this.
saying?
Yeah, my take. Yeah, I get it, but my take is this: you're not going to stop that even with a law because everybody's expecting a transgender woman to look like me with a wig on. There are some transgender people that look
Exactly.
They look better than
You're not gonna make a
There are
deal.
some transgender people that look more convincing than an actual woman. So if they walk in the bathroom, you're not going to know.
Hey, Tim, there's a little Asian guy on TikTok named Jasmine J.
Oh, you're scaring
I
me.
want you to
You're
watch
frightening me.
I want you to watch Jasmine J. When he starts out like looking like a man, not even well shaven. By that 4 hours after him putting on that makeup, you'll be asking that mother to marry you.
Damn. Jasmine J, huh? You scaring me.
pretty
You
is.
scaring me. Well, they got what they call
Jasmine
they
J,
got what
you
they
gotta
call lady boys over in Asia, in like Thailand and Cambodia, and they do look like women. They really do look like women. So yeah,
I told you now, Tim. When I told you about that no hands bar the middle of the night. When I
that
told
was
about
you,
that.
right? That was you.
Now tell me, Tim. So if it was one of those ones that them lady boys that's over there, you wouldn't care. Just you wouldn't care.
I would care. I'm not gonna fuck a man.
Yeah, you'll care if one of your buddies tell you.
No.
Nobody know, but
No.
But if nobody know, but you,
Listen.
you'll be back over there the next night. Trust me.
I don't know. Let me just say it like this. I don't care how fine she look. If I'm about to hit it and I
Right.
find out that this person was born a man, it's gonna soften my shit. I know I'm about to go in a man. I can't
Tim,
do it. I
Tim,
can't
Tim.
do it. Can't do it.
21 years. I couldn't do it either. I admit that I couldn't do
Okay.
it. 21 years in the military. 21 years in the military. And I've hit it from left to right, back and forth, and all around the world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you something that I have never seen. So when a woman is too pretty to me, my guard go up even more than
Same. Like what the my first man says, what the fuck you talking to me for? What are you doing over here with this? I'm the same way. I don't trust it. I don't
Absolutely.
trust it.
I would never go for that. I would never go for that. You hear what I'm saying? Tim, when I go to the store and buy a vacuum cleaner, I don't buy the most expensive one. I don't buy the cheapest one. I buy the one right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I buy the one right in the middle. Because I ain't trying to pay too much for something or too little for something and get wrong. But it never has happened to me. And I've been around a lot of them. And they have never been disrespectful to me. They have never came on to me. They treat me... And sometimes we used to go in gay bars, and we know they were gay bars over there. You kind of know, because ain't no male Asians there. It's just all women.
I've had it happen. It has happened to me. It's happened to me it's happened to me a few times. Once I was in Key West, and we're walking down the street, and there's a bunch of women standing in front of this club, or what looked like women's silhouettes, and I'm looking like
Right.
shit. And then my brother grabbed me like, dude, those are men. That happened once. I used to be an Uber driver driving passengers to gay clubs. I've had it happen there. So I've been in a couple gay clubs. I've had it happen a few times. Fortunately, I let them know I'm straight as 315, but I've had it happen a few times.
And as soon as they figure that out, they don't press themselves. They
True.
don't press themselves
True.
on you. You know what I'm
True.
saying? I mean, if they come up to me, I would just say, look here, no, they just move my hand a different funny kind of way or something like that. Like, no, back off.
Yeah.
And then after that, they might buy you a drink or whatever, but they ain't trying to get you to do nothing that you...
Yeah.
Guys, I think that's why y'all young men don't think they'd be able to tell the difference and fight it off. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like if you are a transgender person, you should have to let that person know before you get in a situation that's going to cause them to freak out on you.
I gotta move it on,
Yeah,
but
I do believe
I
that.
think that should be law. I gotta move it on, but I agree with you. I think that should be law. You should not spring that up on somebody that you were a biological male during intimacy because it can lead to heat of passion crimes. I mean, yeah, I agree with the minute you start trying to holler at them in the club,
Yeah.
you should have to tell them.
Yeah, you should tell them right as soon as they come up to you. Look here, you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, a lot of them
But that
like
man
turning
voice
people
sounds
out.
like you.
A lot of them like the turning people out aspect of it.
I've never seen that though.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Tim,
I
Tim,
know
it's
some
like-
lesbians
let me
that
ask you a
brag
question,
about doing
Tim.
that. Real
Tim,
quick,
you ever
real
seen
quick.
You ever seen a stud? You ever seen a stud with his girlfriend?
Yeah, plenty.
Don't you wish you can get with both of them?
I gotta go. Yes, Lewis, thanks for coming through. Now I'm okay with that. Depending on how manly the fucking stud looks, though. Depending on how, I mean, look, there, you can deface your gender to the point where you're not even attractive anymore. It depends on how manly that stud is. I mean, keep in mind, I'm a Gen Xer. It's one thing looking at a 20-year-old stud. It's another one looking at Rosie O'Donnell, for instance. I can't do nothing with that. I can't do nothing with that. So it depends on what that stud looks like. Anyway, looking in the comments, I see Blue One Bake says, what are we doing here? We are discussing the ongoings of what's happening now with the Trump administration and the fact that, and real quick in the comments, I do want to acknowledge a super chat. Thank you, Lunatic Libertarian. Lunatic Libertarian says, all centralized systems are failed. Welcome to the United States of Israel. Treason is a popular position right now. That's a frightening statement, but I can't totally disagree with the fact that it does appear as if aspects of the Trump administration is putting the security of Israel over our own interests. That does appear to be what's happening. In fact, I saw an article that said we have fired more of our interceptor rockets defending Israel than Israel has fired defending Israel. We've spent more of our weapons protecting their country than they have spent protecting their country. And you know those interceptor rockets are not cheap. They are not cheap. Thank you for that, Lewis. Appreciate the hat and mustache and the support. By the way, folks, yes, help your boy out with the hat and mustache. TikTok cap goes. Thank you, Lewis. But yeah, I agree with what he said. I do believe that we have gotten to a point where, and it's not just the Trump administration is doing it, but there are people in this country that are supporting it to the point where you can't criticize Israel at all without being called an anti-Semite. It's almost like when it comes to African Americans, and I don't agree with this either, where anything you say negative about African Americans, that means you're a racist. No. There's plenty of legitimate criticisms to the African American community, just like every other community. Just criticizing somebody that is black doesn't make you a racist. We don't want to get to the point where any group of people are beyond being able to be criticized. That's what's happening with Trump, is that he's gotten to the point where his party can't criticize him. Otherwise, you become a traitor to the party, or you go in a category with Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody. I don't think anybody should be like that. Man, we've gotten that way with the Israeli community or the Jewish community or whatever, that anything you say about them means you're an anti-Semite. That shit needs to stop. But I do agree that it appears that we're putting their security above the welfare of this country. And it's going to be an expense. You heard what my last caller said. We haven't even realized how costly this stuff is going to be. I agree with that. And I don't feel confident that the Trump administration is going to give you accurate numbers. I think the next administration, liberal or otherwise, is probably going to get in there and start quoting off numbers that we're going to be like, what the fuck did we just let happen? Anyway, looking in the comments, Lunatic Libertarian says, how can you be anti-Semite to non-Semites? Wow. You're above my pay grade with that one. I've heard it, though. I have actually heard that. Wow, that's a hell of a statement. How can you be anti-Semitic to non-Semite? That's a good point. Looking in the comments, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000, if you will. I'll go to the next caller. We're talking about what are we doing in Israel. We'll go to Burke Lee. Is that straight talk? Burke Lee, good evening. Welcome to the program. Donald Trump's daddy was arrested wearing a KKK uniform. Yeah, but that is something that happened decades ago. Just because, listen, my dad was a crack addict. Real talk, real life. This is something that happened in real life. I've never even tried cigarettes or alcohol. So you can't look at what my dad got involved in and perished from it and say it has any connection to me at all. So I just want to say that. Let's try it again. We'll go to Doomsday. Good evening, Doomsday. He wasn't wearing the Klan robe, says Alter Ego. Fair enough. I have heard that Fred Trump, I think his name was part of the KKK. Like I said, that you can't just stick that or fix that to Trump just because his dad was involved in it. But I have heard it before. Have you heard that also, Straight Talk?
What's that?
That Trump's dad, Fred Trump, was a member of the Klan.
I have not heard that, no.
Really?
And I would, yeah, I doubt that very seriously. But, you know,
why would you doubt it?
Into what, I came into this conversation in the middle of your last conversation. For some reason, I just reached over, grabbed my phone, saw you were online. I don't know what told me to come in for that.
Jesus, goddammit. Jesus told you to come in.
It illuminated so much about you to me that I was like, damn, I need to say something to you.
Well, before you do, I gotta ask you, based on your last statement, I asked you, did you know about Fred Trump? And I don't even want to talk about this that much. But the minute I told you Trump's father, there's these rumors that he was part of the KKK, you said you doubt it. Why? What are you basing it on? Why do you just automatically doubt that?
Well, because just speaking from experience, my uncle was a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan. I know that type of what
keep going. I'm listening. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, I mean, look, I've been around that. I didn't necessarily grow up with it, but I definitely, you know, I grew up in Cut and Shoot, Texas. Okay.
So what makes you doubt Fred Trump?
Because of where he lived in the country, A, B, the type of person he raised. I know what, you know, I mean, look, you'll go to any depths in your disagreement with the president or your criticism of the president. Next, he's an alien. Next, the guy touched kids. You'll do anything. You'll say anything against this president. 2
points. First of all, you said the kind of kid he raised, and whoa, Rod S. Thank you. Appreciate the support. I will say this, in regards to you saying the kind of kid he raised, there are a lot of folks who are racist that raised daughters and sons that thought their dad was a piece of shit, and they varied away from it. So you could be hardcore far right and raise a progressive child.
Well, look, I don't disagree with that. As a matter of fact, I've lived through that. My cousins were nowhere near the way that their father was. Okay, but. That would be I would never hear you say that about Trump. You guys think he's racist, even with everything that he's done for the African American community in this country.
I'm not aware. Well, two things. First of all,
I know you ignore it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I bring it up to you. You will just ignore it.
Well, I think that most of the people that think Trump has done so much for the African American community are not African.
Dollars.
Well,
tons of scholarship.
I hear what you're saying.
Of bringing people to the White House. All of that doesn't matter one bit to you. Because you want to think bad about the president.
But you make it sound like that's something unique to Trump Straight Talk. Look at how many folks on the right call Biden racist. And he's done tons of stuff for black people, too.
But he says a lot of racist shit, though.
And Trump doesn't?
President Trump does not.
Yeah, are you crazy?
The whole story with Corn Pop, Biden with all of the, you're not black if you don't vote for me. That's pretty racist.
Real talk, is that?
But I'm just a white dude.
Well, let me make something clear. I think you got a MAGA viewer coming up with you. Let me make something clear. President Trump has said a bunch of racist shit too. You just don't think it's racist. Real talk. What brought you up here?
Yeah, because how you doing, Mr. Straight Talk? I heard you say something, sir. You said Biden was racist because he said, "Vote for me, you ain't black," or whatever case should be like that. So when Trump was out there and saying that your neighborhoods are poor. What do you have to lose, or whatever case should be like that to vote for him? Do you think that was racist?
I don't think that was racist. I think that was actually the truth.
I don't know if I think that's racist either. Real talk. Okay.
Okay. So what about when he said that he don't want black people counting his money when he bankrupt the casino?
That's racist.
What? Wait. President Trump, hold on. President Trump said he does not want blacks counting his money in the casinos or he will go bankrupt.
No, I ain't say he would go bankrupt. He just said he didn't want blacks counting his money.
I gotta say before
Tim, I would like to hear the.
No, I don't, and that's what I was going to say is I've heard that as well. I haven't seen any evidence of.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
All right. Let me hear you back. Let me hit you with one that he said. You remember the Central Park 5, right? Remember those, right?
Yes.
This game.
Yes.
Okay. So you remember, Mr. Straight Talk? You remember when Central Park 5 was exonerated?
Yes.
Did you ever see Trump being asked about, do you want to make an apologies for them?
He did make an apology.
No, he didn't.
Matter of fact,
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. And as a matter of fact, not only did he make an apology, not only did he say that he was only going off of what he'd been told. Everyone believed that. For some reason, he was not the only one that talked about the Central Park 5 like that.
We're not talking about everybody else, sir.
All you guys want to do is blame him for that.
Sir, listen, I don't support either side. I stand with the people. That's number one. That's what me and you differ. All of the case should be like that. So if they're not doing good for all people, then I think all of them should go. All of the case should be like that.
That's not possible. You can't do well for all people. That's ridiculous.
Sir, listen.
Because you want different things than I do. If
if
they're doing well for you, they are not doing well for me, Real.
Sir, as a patriot, right? A patriot want the good for all people, right? In America, right? That's what a patriot
possible. Means. Listen, I want what I want, and I want what you want if it aligns with me to be successful. But I'm telling you right now, I want you defeated. I want you squashed if you don't align with what I want. I'll tell you straight up. That's real talk.
So you want Americans to fail if they don't agree with you?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I do.
I was actually
there in this country, and me to pay for it. I want you to catch fire.
I was agreeing with you from the point of, as a president or as a leader, you cannot please everybody. I agree with that part. You lost me from that point on.
I agree with that you can't please everybody, but shouldn't that be the goal to try to be there for everybody?
If you want to sit at home and watch television and not contribute to society, I want you to fail at that. I want you to go get a job and to contribute and to be the best person you can possibly be. And that's for real.
But what if there's circumstances that you want to contribute, but there's circumstances that you have grew up with and in your way, and that's in your way that you need the government help? Shouldn't we be there to help them?
That depends. I'm not going to help you sit at home and do shit. You understand? If you need help, need further education, if you really came from a background that was impoverished, of course, a hand up, that's not a problem. But you got to show effort. If you show no effort, I want you to fail at that spectacularly.
I don't know why you want that.
I'm gonna say in a sense that I agree with you, but let me tell you why I agree with certain parts of what you're saying. I don't. Because I tell Mr. Tim, I tell my sons, what I care about is people putting in their work. Yes. But at the same time,
3 minutes.
But at the same time, I have to be willing to see them put in their work and see them trying, and not just feel like they ain't trying. It should be like that. Like for example,
I've got kids myself, Real. I have children myself. If I knew that my daughter was sitting there studying every single night, putting in the work, and she needed extra help, dude, I've had tutors in my house. Not a problem.
Sir, I want to ask you one last thing before I go, because it was something you said. I think it was yesterday when you were talking to Mr. Tim, whoever case it'd be like that. When Trump was talking about that, he looked at that little girl. He said,
it was 20 years. I thought about this myself.
When he said, in 10 years.
I made a clip out of that, too.
I want to ask you, what do you think that Trump was thinking about when he looked at that little girl and he thought about, in 10 years, I want a piece of that egg?
Listen, I know you guys grow up, you guys live in this fantasy land where all men are pure of heart, and you guys don't talk about shit like that. I know you want to front for the ladies like that, but you're full of shit.
Sound like Duke.
Both of you are absolutely full of shit.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying you think most men have looked at a 12, 11, 10-year-old and said, in 10 years, I would love to hit that. You believe that's what's on the mind of most men?
Not most men, all men.
What?
All men. No. And it's time that you guys knock it off.
No,
sir.
Women
that are listening to this are nodding in agreement.
Ain't nobody. Is there, hold on. By way of yes or no in the comments, is there anybody in the comments that agree with him that most men look at a 10, 11, 12-year-old, if they're really attractive, and say in 10 years I would like to hit that? Is there anybody that thinks that?
I hear that all the time.
No.
Hey, Mr. Straight Car, let me ask you a question. You ever watch those shows, like two of them are named, called Colorado Pan Patrol and Prairie Poachers?
Hey, Real.
You ever watch those shows?
Hey, Real. Can I tell you something?
Go ahead, sir.
I just sold them, but at one time I owned 6 different porn sites. Okay? The most profitable genre of porn is grown women dressing like younger girls.
Okay, so grown people can do role play all they want, but that's not what we're talking about. Sir.
That's what he was talking about, dude.
So hold on.
In 10 years, maybe 20, Real.
Mr. Straight Talk, hold on. So you saying when Trump looked at that child, he saw a grown woman and wearing little kids' clothes and said, I can't wait till she get older so she can really be wearing those little kid clothes.
And lunatic libertarian, I do see you. Lunatic libertarian, I respond to you.
So what he was thinking.
He said it,
He didn't even try to hide it. He told you exactly what he was thinking.
Hey,
in 10 years, this girl is going to be 20.
Mr. Straight Talk.
Hit that shit.
I was not expecting this Straight Talk.
Hold up. But Mr. Straight Talk, let me throw something else in there.
I was not expecting this.
Mr. Straight Talk, when he said that, was he talking to an adult or he was talking to another child?
He was talking to an adult.
What adult was there? I only heard kids. I heard the little guy say, ew. You heard that? What kid? Because he was talking to another child. That's what I heard. He said, you see her going up there right now? I'm going to be dating her.
He was talking to someone interviewing him. Someone was interviewing him.
Yeah, he was talking to somebody else,
and
but
he also talked to Howard Stern. Howard Stern said it first.
But he still haven't. But straight talk.
Him in the other clip was a very famous leftist interviewer who said the same thing prior to
so that. Makes it all right for Trump to say that.
No, what I'm saying is, where is your outrage for a guy that made millions of dollars saying things like that and getting other people to say things like that?
Because he's not president. Because he's not somebody that's supposed to be the most powerful man, the most respected man on this planet. That's why.
I think what it is
he's just a regular person.
Isn't giving you what you want.
No.
If he was handing you all the free shit you wanted, he'd be just fine. You guys would love him like.
All right.
Well, hold on, sir. He getting a lot of. Mr. Straight Talk, Trump getting a lot of free stuff from us.
That's a good point.
Why we can't expect no free stuff? What's for him? Oh, he should be like that.
What do you think he got from you?
What do you mean?
You don't think Trump you don't think Trump has gotten anything free from the taxpayer? Straight talk.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I gotta move it on. All right, real talk. I didn't think you were gonna come that fucking hard. Real talk. Thank you for coming through. I thought
your money.
What?
I said, I hope that was worth his money. He paid to talk to me.
It was worth it in spades. It absolutely was worth it. It was worth it for free. He tore you up, man, and he revealed the part of you that I didn't think existed. I do want to say this though. When you say Trump,
are you talking? I'm not the one talking about having sex with men. You revealed a lot about
you wouldn't worse than that.
With me?
You wouldn't worse than that. You went into the kiddie pool. Let me just say this.
Worse than that. Please go ahead. Please.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the Israel thing, but
let's go to the Israel. Real quick, when you said Trump has never said anything racist, I just want to let you know he said a lot of things you just probably wouldn't find him racist, or you would just say it's a retweet or it was a joke. Yeah,
that's fair.
He said a lot of things.
I'm not a victim. I'm not tuned to all the victimized racist bullshit. And that is a fair thing you said.
Yeah, because I think a lot of MAGA that, believes that the liberals are snowflakes and they can't take a joke. If you had a liberal in there and they were criticizing Christians and gun owners all day, I think MAGA would get it. The stuff Trump is saying.
Tim, I agree with you. I think that there are things that he has said that through a certain lens is definitely going to be racist. 100%.
Right.
But it's the same thing at the roast, when they did that Kevin Hart roast.
Yes.
It depends on context. Certainly.
Yeah, but you go to a roast, you know what you're getting into.
No,
you don't expect you don't expect to see the same shit that comes from a roast coming from the presidential account.
Well, I would love an example of that. I have not heard.
I mean, the whole thing of all the Democrats as zebras and the Obamas as apes and shit. Why is that coming from the presidential account?
Yeah, I don't know that he did that, but if
he's in control of it.
Going to be.
I mean, he sent out a video of a guy yelling "white power." Why is that coming out the presidential account?
So lathered up about that.
Because it is.
Wait, I got AI too. Wait till you see what I do for you.
Well, this is not AI because this is not AI because he acknowledged it. But the simple point I'm saying is a roast and the presidential official account are two different things. Your account should not match what's coming from a fucking roast. Your account should.
You said that. That's your opinion. I don't think I don't hold him to that standard. That's your opinion. I thought it was hilarious, and it was made with AI.
And that's my point. Well, the guy yelling white power was not made with AI. It was an actual guy yelling white power.
White power.
Yeah.
Wait, what white power? I thought you were talking about the video that he made with the Obamas and the Democratic Party. All his Jungle Book animals.
That's the point, straight talk, is he's done so much shit. And if you believe CNN or MSNBC or fake news and all that, and I can understand why, but
no. But I look at it differently. I do not look at that. Number one, I don't even know if he. I know he didn't make it. I don't know if he put that on his presidential account or whatever account. I don't know that.
He's actually put it. Well, he not only put it on his presidential account, but he acknowledged it. He's acknowledged it. Like this is only 16 seconds. This is one of the things that was on his account when he was president the first time.
Where's your white voice? Where's your white voice? Racist. White power. Yeah, there you go. White
That's
power.
not President Trump.
No, but he put this on his account. Trump retweeted this shit. Why would he do that?
What's the problem with that?
What is the purpose of it?
Well, listen. I know people that have tattooed brown pride to themselves.
What is the purpose of the president sending this up?
Wait. You want me to be upset? A white man upset at another white man saying white power? Why? What are we doing?
What do you think the purpose of somebody saying white power is? They want to make friends?
Well, listen, I can't get in that dude's head, but you tell me.
Have you ever seen anybody yelling white power?
What's the purpose of that being black power?
Have you ever seen anybody saying white power that was in a non-racist manner?
I think if you say
white power, let's stick with what we're talking about.
I think, of course, by definition, it is racist. It's a question of whether it's acceptable. Is it acceptable for a white person to yell white power? And if not, why would it be okay for someone who is black to yell black power?
So vote for me or you ain't black is racist, but this is not.
If I do what? I didn't say it was.
You said Biden has said a bunch of racist shit, so you can see the racism in Biden. But all of this stuff,
no, I do, because he is telling you, Tim, that if you don't vote for him, a black man, do not vote for him, a white man, then you are no longer black. That is not only racist; it is insulting. Should be insulting to you, but it isn't. It's okay with me.
I would advise you to talk to more people in the black community, because I can guarantee you what Biden said compared to this, the overwhelming majority of people in the black community are going to say this shit is racist. Even Tim Scott, who's an avid Trump supporter, hold on. Even Tim Scott, who's an avid Trump supporter, said this was extremely racist. And then when he posted the Obamas as monkeys, Tim Scott said that's the most racist thing I've ever seen posted on the internet.
Yes, and I agree. I just said I agree. I 100%.
So he is doing things. So he is doing things that are racist. So he is doing things that's racist.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But
all right.
Again, I'm going to say to you, does it really matter? Is it okay if you say black power? That's racist. Why in the man in the golf cart? Why can't he say white power?
I'm gonna pull
both are racist.
No,
Do you not agree that both are equally
no,
racist?
I agree it should be, but I'm gonna pull a Charlie Kirk and say context. There is no context of people yelling black power and being racist. There is a long line, decades long. No, there is. Hold on, let me finish. There is a long line, decades long of Aryan Nation and white supremacists yelling white power while actively involved in white racist protests. You don't see that from the.
Hold on, you don't think that there's an equally long and storied? I mean, maybe not equally long.
Not even remotely.
You don't think that it's racist when someone from the Black Panthers or from the Rainbow Coalition or the Islamic Brotherhood? You don't think that it's equally racist? All you have to do.
What is the black? What you said the Black Panthers and what has the Rainbow Coalition done to indicate they're racist? What have they even said? What have they said?
We will talk offline.
All right, Israel. Get to Israel. You got 5 minutes. I got to move it on. Get to Israel. I
got all the time in the world. Don't tell me.
I got other fucking guests.
What do you know? I don't
Get
know.
to Israel. What I know is I got other guests. Get to Israel.
Okay, fine. Well, listen. This whole Israel hate, you guys are 100%, it is 100% anti-Semitic. 100%. It is why you are, listen, you name for me a country in NATO. You name for me an ally of the United States that the United States would not defend as heavily as they are defending Israel. Go ahead. Name the country.
Taiwan. Taiwan is a perfect example.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why do you think the Taiwanese are still Taiwanese instead of Chinese?
Because Trump just got in power. I don't think when you said name one country we want to defend, I'm separating. Hold on. Let me finish responding. When you say name one country we won't defend as much as Israel, I'm putting a slash between Trump and the previous presidents. Because the previous presidents did not view NATO or any of that. The Ukraine, who is not an official ally of the United States, would have been defended by Trump, better yet, by Obama, Biden, Bush, all of them. What Trump is doing is totally different. So
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's 100% the same. And by the way, just because you don't like Israel does not put them in any kind of, they are our longest, they are truly our ally, number one. Truly. Anytime we need them, all we have to do is look back and they're there. That you can't say that about Canada, UK, you can't say that about Mexico, you can't say that about any of the NATO countries.
Yeah.
Israel is really our ally. You want to know the truth about it?
I wish I could have seen them helping us out after September 11th. I don't see where he is. I see many NATO members after September 11th, or even George W. Bush's coalition of the willing. I didn't see Israel involved in that. It was all those NATO member nations.
Yes, they were. And by the way, yes, they were. And you know why you didn't see him front and center? Because he needed the coalition of Gulf states, and the Gulf states cannot be seen fighting next to Israel. They can't be on the same side. Boy, at the time they couldn't. So Israel did us a massive solid by staying the fuck out of that battle.
Real talk.
I'm still here on this planet because Israel minded their business and gave us support behind the scenes.
Real talk.
Mr. Straight Talk, because you had brought up my father, whatever the case may be like that, and I think those are great conversations with my father, my heavenly father. So I think those are great conversations to break up. Now, you said that if we don't support Israel, because you said this one time on a live before, that if we don't support Israel, then that means that we are condemned because we don't support Israel?
Two times in the Bible, God says what about Israel? What does he say? 2 times. Genesis, let me give you a hint. Genesis and Numbers. What does he say, Real?
Go ahead and tell me, sir, because go ahead and tell you. So go ahead and say it. What did he say them 2 times?
He says, bless Israel and I will bless you. Curse Israel, I will curse you. He says it 2 times to you.
But now, since you said that,
he's lying to you, huh?
I'm gonna hold on, sir. First of all, because my Father's word said, no man shall add nor take away from the word of the Lord. So let's go ahead and continue.
Well, you're taking away from it if you don't acknowledge he told you twice.
But sir, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and continue and hold your horses real quick, because see, there was a time in the word where the disciples had came to Jesus and they told Jesus that there was a man out there preaching the word of God and he is not one of us. And the disciples had asked Jesus, allow us to go smite him. And Jesus told them, leave him be, because he's doing the will of my Father. So even though that man wasn't one of them, but the will of the Lord, that's what the focus is. Or if the case it be like that. So see, at the same time, can you tell me right now, since you want to bring up the work, sir, I don't know how old you is, but I turned 44 on May 29th.
58.
Or in case it be like that.
Just for your education.
And in my lifetime, I have read the whole complete Bible. I can say that in my lifetime.
Doesn't sound like it. The Lord sent me to remind you of what he said, Real. He sent me to tell you, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And he never said that in the word, so we could go ahead and get that rap phase out the way.
I narrowed it down for you, buddy. Genesis and Numbers.
Sir, Mr. Straight Talk, the word says the children of God are led by the Spirit of God, sir. That's what the word says. Now let me ask you this question.
Nowhere did it say, hey, ignore my word.
I don't want I don't want to get too biblical. I don't want to get too biblical.
Okay. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, you know what? Let me go ahead and follow.
I'll start.
So when you get your line, sir, I'm gonna come holler at you.
All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. All right.
For sure.
And thank you, Real Talk, for coming through.
For sure. I support you, sir. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to say this, sir, before you drop it. You know, Mr. Mike, sir, if you hear, I respect Mr. Mike. There ain't no ill for him, Mr. Mike Balls. I respect him. But at the same time, you know, sir, you always say it from day one, you about free speech. Or if the case may be like that. And regardless of how it is, sometimes when you're being fair, it's hard to be fair, man. Or if the case may be like that. But the people that we should look towards is the people that say who they are and they stick to it. So regardless, and again, sir, I'm gonna thank you, because for me hearing that, boy, hey, I appreciate that, because we need to know things, and sometimes we will put ourselves in positions that we won't even expose these things, allow these things to be exposed to other people. So, sir, I stand behind you 100% no matter what. Thank you for letting me share, sir.
I appreciate that support, absolutely. Thank you very much. Come back anytime. Tap the screen. Straight Talk is, me and Straight Talk doesn't agree with anything politically, but he's a friend of the program, which is why I gave him a little bit more time, because obviously people were sending galaxies and wanted to talk to him as well. Real quick, I got to respond to a few super chats. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 45,000. This is indeed uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone, as you heard my last guest say. This is free speech absolute. We don't block, ban, or censor. We absolutely mean that. We are MAGA friendly, been MAGA friendly since day one. And you can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. We absolutely mean that. We are such a proponent of free speech. We do not have moderators on this program. That's how much we believe in free speech. Evil Bibadu says Straight Talk is oblivious to it because he's white. He's not going to defend anybody when they're doing something wrong. Is completely belligerent and ignorant. This is so stupid. Race people are. I think the issue is, yes, true what Evil said. I just think that if you support Trump, you're probably not going to really see what he's, you're not going to, no matter what he says, I don't think you're going to view it as racist. Just like Charlie Kirk. If Joe Biden had said half of the shit that Charlie Kirk said, the right would have been calling him racist as hell. So I just think some folks are able to kind of turn a blind eye to it when they don't want to see it. Is that Matthew? Thank you for the hat and mustache. Hang on a second, the one and only Zeus. In the comments, I want to respond to a couple super chats. Libertarian says you cannot vote your way out of tyranny. All laws not aligned with the Constitution are repugnant. Education equals failed, healthcare equals failed, food supply failed, justice system failed, centralized system. Well, when you say you can't vote your way out of tyranny, I guess I can't understand what you're saying, because if the person is tyrannical, they're not going to listen to the results of the election. If you're dealing with a tyrannical government, it doesn't matter who you vote in, they're not going to listen to the results of it. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Real quick, labels, titles, and categories of identity politics. And that's sad, by the way. Labels, titles, and categories of identity politics has programmed all to hate their fellow man. Programming to the fullest. These systems are failed, and participating in them is insanity. Well, we have got to get ourselves to the point where we favor unity, and unfortunately, you're not going to get that until you get a leader that's governing from a unifying standpoint. You're not going to have a divisive leader in a unified country. It starts at the top. Leadership starts at the top. If you got to get a leader that is promoting unity to get us to unify, and with Trump currently right now, that's just the opposite. The one and only Zeus. Such an honor to have you here. I often watch your content in the morning. What brings you up, Zeus?
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Not much at all. I'm in the trenches as usual. We talk, huh?
How are you in the trenches?
Oh, I'm getting hammered by my audience. You just heard I don't know if you heard one of my guests indicating that Trump has never said anything racist, and the liberals got it all twisted. They're supporting Biden when Biden is the true racist. Vote for me or you ain't black.
Whoa.
This is what
they still say stuff like that?
Vehemently, many times over. Many times over. Trump is the one that has done, my last guest said it, Trump has done so much for the African American community, and we just refuse to see it. It is Biden that was the anti-black guy. And by the way, before you respond to that, handsome conservative, let me know what we're doing was indicating that he said the show is getting bad. I want to know what you're talking about. But yeah, they do believe that Biden is just really been destructive to the black community, and Trump has done a lot of good for people of color.
Yeah, so I don't know who said such a thing, but whenever I encounter Trump voters trying to brainwash me into believing that, I immediately stop them in their tracks. They like to point out what Joe Biden did, but I'd like to remind them, didn't he put a black woman as his vice president and put a black woman on the Supreme Court? Yeah. Whatever racist thing they believe Biden did, at least Biden at his age had enough understanding and started taking accountability for it. What Donald Trump continues to do, it's unforgivable as far as I'm concerned. He promotes racism on a daily basis. He can't stop talking about Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? He can't stop talking about black people. He dog whistles every single time he gets in trouble. So going into the midterms, I'm honestly waiting for him to do something, you know?
Now, let me ask you, and by the way, Twisted Sonic, I appreciate that. Potato in Paris, thank you. Let me ask you, what has Trump, you say Trump is rendering dog whistles. I need to hear from you, because my MAGA side of the audience, we do have MAGA here, so understand it. What is, I want you to elaborate on what has Trump said that would lead you to suggest he's giving dog whistles out?
When he was campaigning, he was talking about black jobs. He at one point said Kamala wasn't black. We all know about the birther thing. He put Obama on his social media platform as an ape, him and Michelle. You know what I'm saying?
They're claiming the ape thing was just a joke, and the liberals can't take a joke.
Well, I got a joke for MAGA, and they can't take it. I always ask them, like I asked today. I said, so who's the most violent group of people in America?
They're going to say the liberals. Black Lives Matter.
No. It's the white man. If you notice what they've done to this country, they stole the land from the indigenous people. They enslaved black people, and they want us to get over it. So you say, give me reparations. Oh, yeah, I think that's the best thing to say to these folks out there. Give black people reparations, and they want to go back 47 years and relitigate what Iran did, then we should be able to go back 460 years, right? Now, isn't that funny?
It's an interesting perspective. I didn't think of
Yeah,
that.
they don't find it funny when we start talking like that, but I think it's really entertaining, you know?
So let me ask you. So do you actually? I mean, I don't know if you're just saying it to be sarcastic or critical towards the right, or if you actually believe it. But do you believe modern day Caucasians should have to give modern day African Americans reparations for what happened during that era?
Yes, I do 1,000%, and I'll go one step further. I've said, listen. Give every black person a debit card or credit card with any kind of creditor's logo on it, and let us have that for about a year and never send us a bill. Let us do whatever we want with it. That's the least they could do, honestly. And I'm not trolling when I say this. I say this very seriously. That's the least that they could do, considering how much we've been robbed and taken advantage of.
Just give you a year of unlimited spending.
They've built universities off of the endowments of a lot of these universities come from the profits of slavery, plantation owners. They created these, and look at how big these universities and these institutions have gotten in just 400 or so years. And it's not just in the United States. These institutions have global reach. What would I do in my lifetime at that level if they gave me reparations? There's no way I could ever catch up to that. These people are in the hole with black people and indigenous people so much. They're really, you know what it is? They're scared of us. They're really scared of black people because the more we know about what they did, the more they get a little concerned.
I'm going to piss off my audience, at least my left flank, and say that I don't agree with that. You give them a black card,
fair.
But let me explain. And of course we can have our back and forth.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm glad you don't agree with it.
Yeah, I don't. And I'm gonna tell you, listen. If there is going to be such things as reparations, because I do believe, first of all, there is a lot of people who are of Caucasian descent who, when that was going on, they were referred to as N-word lovers and may have even died in the struggle. So I don't see how their descendants should have to pay reparations. So first of all, every white person, even during that era, was not an enemy. So that's the first thing. Second thing I will say is this. If you are going to give reparations, I think it should be, as opposed to just giving somebody a black card and a bunch of cash to either go out and buy a business or buy a set of rims and Jordans, I think that it should be based on what was denied to the community. That being land, in my opinion, education, and businesses. So, and what I mean by that is, if in regards to giving them land, I don't just say 40 acres and a mule. I would say maybe no property tax. If they go out and purchase a home, or if they go out and purchase some land, the property tax or the taxes on that land should be either permanently not happening, or suspended for a serious amount, several years. Same thing with education. Perhaps all student loans eradicated because they were prevented from being educated for so long. And in the last one, what I stated was business. Same thing. You open up a business, you don't pay business license for a while. The reason why I'm saying this is because now you're guaranteeing that every African American you give this stuff to is actually trying to better themselves and do something for society, as opposed to just giving them a blank amount of money. These are people, you want a business, you want a home, you want an education. These are things you're doing that's not only going to be better for you, but it's going to contribute to a better society overall, having more educated landowners and business owners. So that's why I said, if you're going to do it that way.
That's you know what I say? Well, you might want to watch a brother like me get my debit card, and you just stand there and watch me do it, bro, all right? And what you don't want, I'll use your portion too. Because I don't want you to do anything that'll make you feel like your ethics and morals are being compromised. But the way that I see it, I'm sitting here saying, okay, yeah, there were abolitionists. I get it. But you know what? It was unfair to all black people. So you got to even it out by saying, hey, I get it. You didn't necessarily contribute to it. But guess what? We got to make this situation right in America in order to stop this from being a reoccurring problem. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how the black community is responding. Not every black person wants to own a business right away because they don't even know what it takes to run one. So what are you going to do with them? You got to get them.
Give them stock. Then give them stock in the business.
Okay, that's a good. But you can't just. I mean, I like your style, school, businesses, loans, and things like that. That's great. But what about all these black people that have been illegally incarcerated and basically converted into slaves all over again because they threw charges on them?
Well, that's a different.
Black men.
Yeah, that's a different argument. If you can prove you've been illegally incarcerated, that alone.
I just say this: why is Diddy in prison? Why is R. Kelly in prison? Why'd they do that to Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, Mike Tyson? But we can't get none of these guys who mess with these kids in prison.
Harvey Weinstein. I don't know about that. Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's some of them that have paid a price.
I'm talking about the Epstein stuff. They did that to little kids.
Well, the Epstein stuff is because literally the highest levels of government is involved in it. In fact, the highest levels of government worldwide are involved in it. That's why you're not getting to the bottom of that.
If they was black, they wouldn't need this much evidence to do them in. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But then again, I'm going to tell you, I don't disagree with that, but I'm going to tell you the fact that R. Kelly and the likes of Bill Cosby, there were rumors that they was doing that shit forever. Yeah, they finally got caught up. I mean, Bill Cosby was 80 years old by the time they caught up with him, and R. Kelly had to do it more than once. I mean, because he actually beat a case and did it and continued doing it. So it ain't, and the same thing with P. Diddy. They were getting away with it.
Add Tupac in there. Yeah, add Tupac. I mean, the whole point I was trying to make is they have no problem holding black men accountable, right? And I believe in holding people accountable, right? So I'm not excusing what they did, but I'm just having a hard time understanding why none of these people in the Epstein files have seen the inside of a prison. I just find it very difficult.
Because the upper levels of government is protecting them. That's why they haven't seen it, is because the upper levels of. And look, I definitely personally believe Trump's on the list and Trump is involved in protecting them. But I'm not going to excuse the fact that surely Biden's DOJ and all them knew they had access to the files that they could read them. So it ain't like the Biden's government did not know who was in that shit. Biden's government, probably maybe even some of Obama's government with Eric Holder, they had access to all this stuff. They know some of those perpetrators too.
True, but we didn't know. We can't go back and talk about what happened in the past.
No, I'm just simply saying the upper levels of our government is involved in a cover-up. That's why you're not getting to the bottom of it.
But notice the people they're protecting and the complexion of those individuals, right? Yeah. And this is why I say the reparations got to be issued and repaid until black people are made whole, because you keep trying to tell me what happened in the past is in the past, but what we're looking at is, no, it's really still happening. That's exactly what they did back then during slavery, when the massa would go out there and grape the black women and the indigenous women and get away with it. They got away with it.
What do you think is going to happen?
And then they demonized the black men. It's still happening.
Do you really think, though, that, it kind of reminds me of, it's a movie, I don't know if you've seen it before, called King of New York, where he said a nickel bag gets served in the park I want in. And the guy says, you think you're going to live long enough to spend that money you fucking hump? Now, he does kill the guy, but I want to ask you, if African Americans get reparations, do you think the country's going to be? Do you think the country would do that in a non-violent way?
So do I believe that poor white people in America would be okay with me being taken care of by a country that's basically robbed my people for hundreds? I think they would be very upset. You saw what they did on January 6th.
Right.
But guess what? You know what happens? If they choose to get violent, then we should definitely make sure they face the full weight of the law. Those people need to be put in prison immediately and treated like they were the modern day Negro.
Who the hell's going to do that, though? But who the hell's going to do that, Zeus?
Because black people will have the resources now to fight the cases legally, right? So what we would do is we would start taking over those institutions of racism, not just the education. No, we want to control the media. We want to control education. We want to control the legal systems, and we got the money to do it, and we're going to make them. You know this guy, Chud the Builder? You been following him?
Yeah, I know.
You see how he's getting treated like an N-word.
Yeah.
He begged. Because he was running around. He didn't think it could he didn't think it could happen, but this is what we need to see happening. Now,
like I said, not all white people need to be subjected to this, but MAGA, absolutely. They got to learn the hard way.
Why are you singling out MAGA? I want you to elaborate for the audience. What is it about MAGA?
Easy. Okay, so many of you know what MAGA represents. MAGA represents grifting.
I thought it meant make America great again.
Man, that's grifting. That's grift. MAGA represents grifting. You go further to the right, you get into misogyny and racism, right? You go a little further to the right, you get into that seditionist stuff that they're into. You go further to the right, you end up in that Epstein class, and then you go further to the right, and you end up being a warmonger. So that's what MAGA represents.
But how do you respond? Jake on YouTube says Zeus is going to turn me to a racist just to defend my pockets because you're talking about them paying reparations. He's saying that I wouldn't have fucked with you if you didn't try to take my damn money. Now you got me hating your ass.
See? And you see how I bring it out of them.
But you are taking their money though, Zeus. You are taking money from them.
All I did was paint him a picture of what I believe freedom for black men look like. And all of a sudden, out of his own mouth, he said he's going to be racist. The idea that you and I could be that free in this country, it terrifies these folks because they know what they did to us.
But Zeus, you're talking about taking money from a modern day white man that's going to tell you I didn't have shit to do with what my ancestors did, and you're making him pay cash for that. You don't think a struggling modern day white man that's struggling barely can get by, you don't think he has a right to be angry with you taking his money for what his great 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 granddad did?
If he can't, he can feel whatever emotion he wants to feel, right? But it's nothing compared to what black people have had to experience. Think about that. Tell whoever that was, if you can't handle giving up a little bit of money, ask yourself, what have black people had to deal with in this country? It would literally make these people crumble to think about all the pressure that we are constantly being subjected to, and then being told at the same time, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, back in the day when black people did pull themselves up by the bootstraps, guess what that turned into?
Black Wall Street.
You could go read about the horrors. So let's not pretend like they understand what it is like to have their movement totally restricted.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I just don't think this country will ever have the stomach for what not even what I suggested, but certainly not your way of giving them an unlimited credit card. You would get a lot of folks hung doing some shit like that. You would see, you know what you would end up seeing if America gave reparations the way you're talking about, just give African Americans a year to spend on a credit card. You drive down the street, you see an African American dangling from a tree with that credit card in his mouth. I don't think they would have the stomach for that.
Why would he be hanging from the tree though? Because the violence?
Yeah, because
no jealousy, right? See, and so you know what I say? There's a price that needs to be paid in order for us to get this country back on track. You know, in all seriousness, I have to say it like that because that's what I'm aiming for. Now, you know how negotiations work, right? You put out there what you want. You might have to settle for a little bit less.
You go settle for a whole lot less than that.
No. That's why there's still this energy out here right now where a lot of people, we're sitting there saying, listen, we're okay with trying to play the game voting. I do believe that we can vote our way out of this, but I also do believe we're being sabotaged because the MAGA movement has convinced some people in our own community that their vote doesn't count, or they've convinced some people to actually start voting alongside these people who do not want to give them what they deserve. So you know, it is what it is.
But let me ask you this. I'm at the moving on soon, but let me ask you this also. How do you respond to folks? And I think there may be a valid argument here that because of what happened to African Americans in yesteryear was so heinous that even if we gave y'all asses a year to spend on a credit card, it ain't gonna shut you up. You're still gonna be talking about it. I mean, there are folks who are they're going to suggest that there is nothing you're ever going to do to shut these Negroes up. Even if you give them money, they're still going to be talking about this. How do you respond to that?
Why do black people gotta shut up?
Because you made us pay you a whole fucking year of salary, Zeus.
But think about what has happened and all the violence. Isn't it funny how they want you to shut up when it comes to explaining and showing people what they did, but they have no problem talking about you. Oh, black on black crime. You know how that's what's going on in your cities. They love to come to you and tell you what.
I get it every day. But you got to understand, if they give you the reparations to the level you're talking about, that's kind of like an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. I'm going to look, I violated you just like Stormy Daniels or something, but I'm going to give you this money. You're supposed to shut the fuck up. You don't keep talking about the event after getting the money.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, that's funny. No. I'm not going to be the one that you pay and then I shut up and act.
Now, you're not going to get paid, and that is why they're never going to give you the money. You're not going to shut up.
Well, listen, if they want me to shut up, then we ain't putting a cap on it for a year. It's just going to be until I pass away.
Oh, my God.
As long as I got that card, I'm going to be quiet as a church mouse.
Oh.
You take that card away, I'm back on you.
Oh my God! And I truly do believe that though. I don't think there's any amount of money you're going to get or reparation you're going to get in black community that's going to lead to them that's going to cause them to stop chastising whites for what happened. Which is, like I said, that's going to be an incentive for whites to say, well, then fuck it, I'm not giving you anything. But I don't think we would stop because it was horrible. It was horrible, and of course, there's still some people in modern day America that still celebrates what's happening to us by way of waving the flag of the people that were doing it. So. I mean, that's the incentive. So I don't think I think you would probably get some blacks that would vote against reparations, but I don't think because of the fact that we're going to still continue talking about it and making them feel guilty because that's what they view it as. I don't think they would have any stomach to do it.
Well, I'll say this because I know you got to move it on. If you a black person, you say we don't need reparations, then all I'm gonna say is this. Then when they start handing them out, I don't want to see your black hands reaching out for anything. If I catch you there, we're going to have a lot of problems is all I'm going to say, all right? And, again, it's for those who feel they are entitled to it, all right? But if you don't want to do it, fine. That's you between you and your God.
You and my God. All right, I'll leave it at that. Zeus, such an honor to have you on the program. Appreciate it. Good.
Thank you.
You do good work. Thank you. All right, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 55,000, if you will. I want to go to one of my guests. Before I do, though, MAGA represents this is the Satanist people on the far right. And what? Huh? Evil? He says MAGA represents this. The Satanist people on the far right and Trump himself, MAGA represents chaos. MAGA represents belligerent, and also MAGA represents whites only. Wow. You think MAGA represents only white people? There's a lot of black MAGA. There's Hispanic MAGA. Hell, there was even LGBTQ MAGA. Whites only? Strong language. Now, you said MAGA represents chaos. I agree with that, but that's what they wanted. I mean, they like the fact that Trump trolls. They like the chaos. So, but you also says, Evil says MAGA represents you have to sell your soul, join a cult, it's blood for blood, will be given the kingdom of hell back the keys. What Trump has in store for them. You're making Trump out to be straight demonic. I don't know if I agree with all of that, with the exception of I do believe the undying loyalty is a problem. No, I don't have any, as somebody who leans left of center, I don't have any love for Marjorie Taylor Greene whatsoever. None whatsoever. However, I do believe what they did to her is very telling because I don't see any reason Marjorie Taylor Greene should have been put on the outside of the MAGA party. To me, she is as MAGA as they come. He's also doing it to Lorena Bobart. These people are as MAGA as they come. So I don't agree with, like I said, I don't agree with nothing these women say, but wrong is wrong. And I think the way that Trump has treated some of his most loyal supporters just because of one disagreement. I mean, look how Fetterman has been with the Democrats. He's disagreed with Democrats on a lot of shit. I think Trump is worse with Marjorie Taylor Greene than we are with Senator Fetterman. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was with Trump like 95 to 98% of the time. That's crazy that all it takes is one thing and you're on the outside looking in. I'll go to Handsome Conservative on Clapper. We're on Clapper. Yeah, Clapper, if you will. There we go. Handsome Conservative. Make sure I got my audio turned on. Hang on a second. I'm checking this device. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. How is the program falling apart? What are we doing wrong, sir?
Dude, I came up to talk to you about what Straight Talk and that other fellow was talking about. But that last guest you had on just blew my fucking mind, man.
What?
It just blew my fucking mind.
Was it the?
I agree with him. 110%. I'm on his side. 110%.
He blew your mind, and you favor him?
Absolutely. I think we should give everybody that thinks like that a passport and send them the fuck on off.
Somehow I knew that's where that was going.
I'll give them a passport and they can go live wherever the fuck they want. That's what he was going for, right?
Well, first, no, he was talking about reparations. He wasn't talking about leaving the country. I mean,
reparations. No, I agree with that too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody who was a slave should get reparations.
What about descendants of slaves?
They can kiss my ass.
Somehow I knew that's what. Okay, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. Somehow I knew that's what you were thinking. What did you want to talk about in regards to Straight Talk, though?
Well, I only had two things. The gentleman he was talking to, I don't know very well. I mean, I could tell he was really religious. A lot of respect for that gentleman. But Straight Talk was right about the two passages that were in the Bible that Jesus quoted, or Jesus said.
So you do agree?
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, so
that's all I wanted to say on that.
But so you do agree that the Bible commands us to defend Israel?
Yes. But now we've had this conversation before. I want to be very clear on my take on this. In my opinion, as a conservative, and this is going to piss Straight Talk off, this is going to piss Republicans off. In my opinion, when he said that, he was talking about Israelites. He was not talking about governments. Totally different thing. So, I mean, that's my opinion. I know people are going to be screaming, he's not a Republican. Yeah, no fuck, I'm not a Republican.
What is an Israelite? You talking about the citizens of Israel?
Yes, I'm talking about Israelites, just like saying Americans. You're saying Israelites, the descendants of Israelites.
Well, that is who we're protecting, though. Okay, so if Hezbollah
protecting the people is not the same thing as agreeing with a government and power. Those are two separate things. I don't agree with everything President Trump does, but that doesn't mean I'm going to, bash him when he does something right. I stand for the people, not the political office. I can't make it any simpler than that.
Okay. I mean, I get what your separation of government versus the citizens, but for the most part, so if Hezbollah decides to, like October 6th or 7th or whatever happened over there with Hamas.
They attack the people.
Right.
That's the difference. Had they went after, now you notice they didn't go after the president of Israel.
They can't get to him.
The people.
They can't get to him.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, but you notice they went after the people.
But
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Obviously, America's not the only country that's Christian or that believes in the Bible. I mean, most of Western Europe believes in the Bible. Why aren't they talking this defend Israel according to God stuff?
Well, most of those countries, first of all, don't have the freedom of speech that we have. They have a version of it, but they don't have freedom of speech. Second of all, if they're not talking about it, then they're not really Christians because it's right there in the Bible. So, I mean, I can't tell you unless their Bible's been rewritten. I mean, it's the same thing, no matter what Bible you read. I mean, it says the exact same thing. So, you would have to ask them. Speaking of interesting things, did you hear, I listened to this today, Jake Huger from TYT got his passport rejected by the UK for speaking out against Israel. The government, not the people, the government. He was on his way to Oxford to do a debate, and he was on his way to debate some other people. But because he spoke out against the government, look it up on YouTube if you don't believe
it. Yeah, because somebody in the comments is already saying you're not telling the truth. Let me look it up. I met him. He was. I've taken pictures of him before.
Yeah, they reported on it. He was just on Piers Morgan about it. I watched the whole thing.
And he was.
So either he's lying and Piers Morgan is lying, or I don't know what to tell you. That's what I saw today.
Yeah, there's definitely there's NBC News reported. It says blocked. Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, I don't watch American news, but no, I usually watch online news and Al Jazeera and BBC World News and shit like that.
Yeah, they blocked him and they blocked him and Hassan Piker. They blocked two of them.
Now see, that's the difference right there, Tom, between standing with Israel the people and standing with Israel the government.
Why the hell would they?
If you don't stand with the government, you can get banned to go into other countries like the UK, which does not have freedom. So I mean, obviously, that's my opinion. That's what I call.
Well, I'm under the impression that you have pretty much freedom in the UK. Zeus, if you wanted to come back up, I don't see Zeus in the box. Somebody pointed him out.
You can be arrested. You can be arrested for posting something that offends somebody else if you live in the UK, dude. I've seen many videos about it. If you said something on your show in the UK and somebody else was offended, you could be arrested for that. No joke. They send cops to your house.
I would have to see in Zeus. If you're trying, you got to put your request in. I don't see him in the box. I will say this: if people in the UK are getting arrested for saying offensive things, two things I want to know. First of all, what did they actually say? I mean, look,
does it matter? I mean,
it does. If they're
look how many people you offended by calling that one lady a B word. Yeah. Now let's take that. Let's take that for consideration. Say somebody in the UK was offended by that, and you lived in the UK and you were under that law.
But that's what I'm saying. Hold on.
That's your door.
But that's what I'm saying, conservative, is that I need to hear. I mean, because look, there is no country on earth where people are saying things that don't offend somebody. I'm sure that plenty of people in the UK are offending others. They're not all getting arrested, so there has to be a threshold somewhere. If I say you're terrible at soccer, that might be offensive to you. They're not arresting you. So at what level do they start arresting people?
You know what? I wish I had all the answers.
Yeah.
I'm only telling you what I saw, bud. And if you don't believe me, by all means, I encourage everybody in the chat to pull it up, look it up, use your own common sense, listen to what he's saying, go over to Piers Morgan, which is an Englishman, listen to what he's saying. I mean, you got people on TikTok, YouTube. You got people everywhere screaming about this issue. So no, sir, not every country is free, and not every country has freedom of speech.
Well, and I'll tell you something. Because somebody was in my box, I was talking to somebody from MAGA that was talking about this, and I said, I've never heard of anybody in England getting arrested for saying something that was insulting. And they sent me a clip of somebody who had. And this guy was saying, oh, Kaz a horrible racist shit. And I responded back by saying, so you're arguing because you can't say that? Like, give me something that, look, if you're saying, hold on. If you're saying things that are insightful, freedom of speech, hold on. Freedom of speech should allow you to say whatever. But I'm not going to hate on the country that's, like, for instance, you can walk around America waving the flag of the Third Reich. You have free speech to do that. You have free speech to burn the American flag. You have free speech. But if they pass a law saying you can't do that, I don't think that's oppression.
I'm talking about some the things. I can tell you the things I've seen.
Okay.
Preachers getting arrested on the side of the road for preaching. That apparently is a arrestable offense. People having cops show up at their house for something they put on Facebook that offended somebody else, or TikTok that offended somebody else. If you don't, if those are the two things that I've seen happen. I haven't seen anybody screaming and shouting and yelling and hooping and hollering. I'm sure they did get arrested, but I'm talking about basic rights.
Yeah,
or things that we would consider basic rights.
Yeah, but like I said, when people are getting arrested for preaching on the side of the highway, or they're getting arrested for saying something, which is free speech over here, I'm real curious as to. Hold on.
A lady got arrested the other day for praying on across the street from an abortion clinic quietly to herself. Cops walked.
Can you send me some links? Can you send me some links or some of this stuff? Because I know when I was in Australia, I knew plenty of.
I can. If I can figure out how to download it from YouTube and send it to your YouTube channel, I can do that.
Yeah, because when I lived in Australia, I knew plenty of folks because they got a lot of people that come over there from England. And I never heard people were getting arrested for these little mundane things you're talking about. I mean, I got friends. Hold on. I got friends that moved from, because I know in Australia, we can say any fucking thing. I used to criticize the Australian government and everything. I know you can say it in Australia.
You don't have to believe me. All you have to do is a little less work than you normally do, and just type it into your YouTube search bar, and it'll bring it right up. That's all you gotta do.
Because I've never heard this stuff before. I've never heard that free speech was that stifled.
I will try to send you some links, but I mean I don't really know how to do that on YouTube. I will try to send you some links. But either way, dude, Jake Huger got his shit taken away from him because he criticized Israel. I mean, I thought that would be a topic today. That's pretty big news.
Every day somebody
criticizes. I don't even support his channel, and I thought that was pretty fucked up.
Well, what we were really talking about is the fact that President Trump's slush fund has gotten blocked. That was one of the topics. The show has a way of going every damn where. The fact is, we also talked about the fact that 50 of the 69 Iranian missile tunnels that we bombed has now been reopened by Iran. And I'm asking, do we put, because obviously these things are, these missiles.
I'm glad you said that. Because we've had this conversation before. I said before, if we have all these ships there and we have all these troops there, we should be going in instead of giving them time to rearm and redo. You know, if we're going to go in, that's what we need to do. But the fact that we didn't go in, we just gave them time to rearm. So, you know, I'm just pick a side. Either we're going in or we're going to bring the troops home. One or the other. Pick a side.
Yeah. I don't think.
That's where I'm at.
Well, hold on. Here's the problem, though. Trump made it sound like this shit was going to be a cakewalk and you weren't going to need to do all of that.
Right, but while he was saying that, he was getting the ships over there. He was getting the troops over there. He was getting the paratroopers over there. I mean, me and you've had this talk. If you're going to have the equipment there and you're going to have the troops there, there's only one reason to have them there, and that's to use them. If we're not going to use them, let's bring them home. Pick a lane, stick in it, get it done. Decide what you're going to do.
Well, Trump was like I said, not only was he, hold on. Not only was he making it sound like it was going to be a cakewalk, even after all of those forces and all of those assets were there, he still was making it sound like Iran has been decimated. There's no need to put boots on the ground. We've already wiped them out. That's the way he's been talking.
Well, if there was no need to put boots on the ground, why did we take the troops over there?
Because he's lying. Conservative. He's been lying about the ongoings of this war from day one.
Okay, which leaves us with two choices. We're still at the same two choices.
Yeah.
Either we go in and we finish the job, which most Americans don't have the stomach for right now, or we bring all the troops home and admit that we're not at war, we're in a Twitter battle. That's what it is. Or excuse me, a truth social battle. Pick one.
It sounded to me like you're essentially admitting Trump fucked up.
I'm admitting Trump fucked up when he didn't follow through. If he was going to go in, he should have went in. But he didn't. He sat there, he gathered up the troops, and he just sat there and waited for them to rearm. If I wanted to keep a war going, that's what I would do. To keep the war going. If I'm trying to win a war, I'm going in, or I'm calling it quits and I'm going home. One or the other.
Now I know you.
War by doing nothing.
Now I know you voted for Trump, not this last go round, but you have voted for him in the past. Did you support us taking military action on Iran in March of this year? Do you think Trump did the right thing? Do you believe that was necessary?
If the information he was given was correct, then absolutely.
Given by who?
Now, see, but now, after all this time, and again, I'm not a Republican, after all this time, I have to sit back and wonder, was the information correct? Because all we've done is sit there and gather troops, throw a few missiles over there, destroy some shit, let them rebuild, sit there and rinse and repeat. That's not a war.
Yeah, but first you say if the information was accurate. My question is, accurate from who? Because Tulsi Gabbard is on record as the head of the NSA saying that they're not developing a nuclear bomb. So where did the information that he got, because he's claiming they were about to do it, where did he get that information from?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know where he got the information from. I don't know that. But I do know this. If they were getting nuclear weapons, I think he did the right thing. If he was given false information, which is entirely possible for as far as I know, then we should just bring the troops home. We should admit that we fucked up, got bad information, and bring them home.
Wow.
If he got correct information, explain to me why we haven't gone in and finished this. That's all I'm asking. Give me one or the other. Either we go in and we do what we're there to do, or we go home. It is not a complicated situation.
Do you even feel confident that we could go in and successfully do what we need to do?
Oh, we're American, dude. Gloves off, we could do so much shit. If we had complete freedom, we could decimate that place. Decimate it. I'm not saying we should, but if we had all gloves off, we could decimate it. We could end this war tomorrow, one way or another. But for that matter, to be perfectly honest, Israel could do the same thing if they really wanted to.
Israel can't do it without us.
Israel is more capable than you think they are. They have a lot more weapons than you think they have, and I promise you one thing, they got nukes too.
What is Israel using? What weapons is Israel using that don't say made in the USA on the side of it?
Hey, that just makes them smart. They're using the weapons they're buying from us.
In other words, they couldn't do it without us, conservative. If you're flying American F-22, hold on. If you're flying American F-22s, you need all the equipment from Americans. If you're flying our jets, those jets are useless unless you're constantly getting a supply of new materials and updates from the United States. They cannot do this without us.
They're buying weapons from us like Iran is buying weapons from China and Russia.
Are they really buying them?
Technically, of course they're buying them. How do you think they're rearming? They got planes landing there all the time.
I think we're giving them to them.
Planes landing there with weapons and all kinds of shit.
I don't think they're
allowing them to be rearmed.
I'm not
That's
for
why
sure.
we're sitting on our phone.
I'm not for sure they're paying for them, conservative. Remember, if the Bible says we must stand by Israel, I think that we're kind of giving them that shit. I don't think they're paying for them.
Oh, look. I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying Israel is using the weapons that we are selling them, just like Iran is using the weapons that they're buying from Russia and China. Okay, the two sides are arming both parties. We're doing Israel; they're doing Iran.
Okay, I have to look into it. I got to move it on, conservative though. I'm listen. You know, I'm not very religious, and I certainly don't think that we should go to war because of the Bible. Now, you're saying this for the people, not the government. Fair enough, but I don't even think we should be.
I am, but I want you to remember one thing before another person comes on and tells you what I said, because they often get it wrong. I have always said we either need to go in or we need to bring our troops home. True. It's that simple.
True.
It's that simple. So the next time that one of these Democrats that I live in their head gets the urge to talk, and remind them that they're just wrong.
I got a Democrat right now that's pointing out that we give Israel $3.8 billion a year of weapons free of charge. Have you ever heard that before?
I haven't, but I'll tell the Democrat right now, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not disagreeing with half the shit that they're saying. I'm just saying go in or come home. Right. Pick one. Just pick one, for God's sakes.
It remains to be seen.
If we're at war, we're at war. If we're not, we're not.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Conservative, appreciate you.
No, we won't. Support your local liberal. We'll leave it at that.
That sounds even better. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you coming on. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 65,000, THOU, if you will. We'll go back to the next caller. Certainly tap the screen, get the likes on up. Some of you lazy fingers in here, help your boy out with the hat, mustache, tick-tock, cap goals, if you will. They're not buying anything from us. We give them weapons for free, says Denkow. That's what I've always been under the impression, is that we are supplying Israel for the most part, because it's biblically prophesied we help them. I'm not under the impression that they're paying for anything, but I'm going to admit there are folks more knowledgeable on it than me. Looking in the comments before we move on to make sure I didn't miss anything. He doesn't like to talk about racism. What are you guys talking about? Look, reparations you guys are still talking about reparations. We're off of that, folks. Republicans are trying to make you forget you're paying 3 times more under Trump. I believe that. I do believe that they're trying to, because the economy is not going well under Trump. I do believe that. Don't forget, we also pay for their health care and their college tuition in Israel. Wow. All of us here in America who pay taxes for the Israelis, free health care, free college tuition. The Bible goes a long way. I just say that the Bible goes a long way. If you believe it's biblically prophesied to help the people. Now, my last guest said it's not the government, it's the people. Either or. You can still convince us that what you're doing helps the people. If you help the government of Israel, it's easy to make a transition and say by helping the government, you're also helping the people. So you're kind of you're not going to help the people of Israel without the government benefiting as well. So so we can pick and choose which one the Bible means. Does it mean the Israelis or does it mean the government? You can't do one without the other. If you're helping the people, the government's going to benefit as well. In the comments, Dwayne says, I believe it's misinterpreted. I'm with you on that because I don't believe, like I said, I believe in separation of church and state. I don't believe we should be protecting any other nation because of what's in the Bible. We're not even giving each other health care and tuition and the housing and necessities for this country. But yet we're going to do it for another country because that's in the Bible. I'd separate from that. Like I told you before, I've read articles that suggest we have used more of our interceptors, and those things cost thousands a piece. You know, they're firing a Scud missile or something at Israel, and a Patriot battery goes up and blows the thing up in the sky. That Patriot missile that is paid for by the United States that goes up and takes down whatever's coming toward their coming their way from Yemen or Iran or whatever. The interceptor costs about 10 times as much as what they're blowing out of the sky. Same thing with those little Iranian drones that are no more than a lawnmower engine connected to some wings. Those little drones are maybe 10 grand a piece. They're firing missiles at those that cost 100K each. I read an article that suggests we have used more of our interceptors at that price to defend the nation of Israel from oncoming missiles and shit than Israel has used to defend its own country. We've spent more of our money defending Israel than Israel has spent of its money defending Israel. Make that make sense. Dencal, the man indeed, on Instagram. Good evening, Dencal. Welcome to the program. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes up to 65. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, 3.8 billion, huh?
Yes. And just to verify that, I knew this a long time ago, but I just looked it up just so anybody can look it up anytime they want to. The United States provides Israel roughly $3.8 billion a year in baseline military assistance under a 10-year agreement running through fiscal year 2028.
What do we don't get anything for this at all, huh?
Well, the way they set it up to make it seem like we getting something is they put in a $500 million for cooperative missile defense programs. So they spend the $500 million with American companies. So that's what the benefit is. We give them the money, and they spend it with American missile contractors to make it seem like there's some type of give and take. There is none. We give, and after the $3.8 billion, then it goes into what they call forgivable loans.
So they don't have to pay it back. I'm looking.
All of this stuff, like all of the $3.8 billion we gave them this year.
Go ahead.
It got nothing to do with all of the stuff that they blowing through right now all over in Lebanon and doing all of that shit they doing. We replenishing all of that shit for free.
And I'm looking, while you're talking about this, I did go ahead and Google it. I got a BBC article. Here's what's shocking. You said 3.8 billion. This says U.S. approves a record 38 billion Israel military deal. It says 38, not 3.8. It's
a 10-year deal.
Yeah, 3.1 billion annually.
Right, that's what I said. Well, I said 3.8, but 3.1, 3.8.
Jeez Christ, my God.
It's a 10-year deal. But like I said, if they need anything after that, we give it to them on a loan. You hear the sarcasm? A loan that they don't have to pay back.
Is there any chance that this might be the root of some of the anti-Semitism floating around?
Well, look, they keep saying that it's the Democrats that are the anti-Semites and all of this stuff.
Why?
Look, the Democrats was on the train too. They was getting money from AIPAC and all of that stuff the whole time too. They was getting money under Barack Obama. They was getting money under Bush. They was getting money under Biden. They was getting money under Trump. All of that.
Yeah, I would push back. Yeah, I would push back. Yeah, I would push back because what you have, you got the far right, you got traditional Republicans and conservatives, traditional Democrats and liberals, then you got the far left. It's the far right and the far left that are the anti-Israelis. Like the traditional Democrats and the traditional Republicans are the ones that are getting money from AIPAC and all of that stuff. I agree with it. Because, yeah, the far right and far left do not like what's going on with Israel. But the traditional sides of both parties are big fans because you're right. They're getting paid a ton of money.
Right. So I don't know why they're trying to make it seem like it's one party. No, the Democratic Party was the first ones to start questioning that stuff once Gaza started happening. Once Gaza started happening and we started seeing stuff on TikTok, yes, Democrats started. Remember when Joe Biden stopped giving them the large munitions, the large offensive munitions during the Palestinian thing, because he said it was going overboard.
Yeah, but the Democrat voters were saying Genocide Joe has got to go. So they thought the Democrats even thought Biden was doing too much to help Israel.
Exactly. But then they're not realizing this is a deal that has been going on throughout history. They blame it. He's the first person to ever question something that they did, and they called him Genocide Joe. It's like reverse thought process. He was the one when they asked him, hey, will you start thinking about the money we get? He was the first president ever to be like, yeah, we need to start,
Obama was on the world stage also chastising Israel for constantly encroaching in the West Bank and in Palestine. I mean, Obama criticized them too.
Yes, I do. I do say that he criticized, but criticizing somebody is far from anti-Semitism.
But that's the environment we're in, Denkel. I've mentioned this earlier. It's kind of like when a white person criticizes a black person and people just automatically say, well, that means you're a racist, which to me is ridiculous. But that's the way we've gotten with the Israelis, is that a lot of folks have been convinced that any criticism of the Israelis at all makes you an anti-Semite.
Right, which is crazy, because we actually have their leader on video saying basically he controls America, he controls the presidents. We've got him talking about the next target is TikTok, which they did take over. We've got him telling us for 40 years damn near that the Iranians are 2 weeks away from a bomb.
Yeah.
We got him on, so we're not supposed to be able to question him, and if we do, we become anti-Semites? Yeah. No, that's some reverse psychology shit that just ain't working.
I had Straight Talk on the program, my last live, not today, but my other live. He had never heard of Netanyahu saying that Iran was about to get a bomb all those years. He didn't believe it. He was like, no, I'm like, because I was holding him accountable, with Trump saying it, because he believes, Straight Talk believes Trump, that Iran was only days away from getting a bomb and they would have used it. And I'm like, well, Tulsi Gabbard, and I show him Tulsi Gabbard testifying that they're not getting it. So I'm like, well, where is he getting this information from? And he's like, well, maybe Netanyahu knows more than Tulsi Gabbard. And then I play all these clips of Netanyahu going back to 94, like, this guy don't seem to know a lot at all. He had never seen that.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
But those are the types of people who could come online and stuff and be judging whether somebody's anti-Semitic or not. Just like your last caller, misinterpreting the scripture. And I'm not a very religious man. I'm like you, but what they misunderstanding is when he says the word Israel, they're assuming that it's this geographical place that we know of Israel today. It was not the same place. Israel didn't become Israel until us and Europe.
1940s. Yeah, 1940s.
After the World War. That wasn't Israel proper. So we saying that this place that we know of right now is the place where God said those people. Those ain't even the same damn people.
You make a good point. Israel didn't become a country, it was like the 1940s after World War II. You make a good point. That's obviously what was in the Bible written 2,000 years ago had no reference to where Israel is located right now.
All of that was Palestine in the Bible.
Wow.
So I don't understand where these people come up with, because they listen to Donald Trump. They listen to these alt-right MAGA, like religious people, get up there and say, well, God said, what was it, Mike Huckabee when he was talking to Tucker? Well, God said, God said to people, and then Tucker said, well, how can we identify who, the same conversation we've been having about reparations. Well, how do we know these are the same people?
That's a good point.
They don't want to give us reparations because they're like, well, we don't know who was slaves and who wasn't slaves and families. But they want to give somebody carte blanche in the Bible that says we got to defend them at all costs, including our children's lives going to war. because of somebody misinterpreted in the Bible? Man, come on.
You know, it's interesting, not to get too deep back into the reparations conversation, but think about it. We're giving Israel $3.1 billion. That agreement was in 2016. So from 2016, let's say for 10 years, you're giving them $3.1 billion in weapons. If you get a black community $3.1 billion for 10 straight years, that's reparations. There you go.
Right. But look, they have no problem with that. They have no problem with that money going to Israel. But when we say, let's try to rectify some shit that didn't happen in our own country, people who have been generations that have been hurt, oh, we can't afford that. I'm not giving my money for that. You know what? They put legislation. They tried to pass legislation within the last couple of years that say that the IDC, which is the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, they would get the same amount of financial payment as an American soldier.
I heard that. They were talking about they were essentially trying to blend in the American military with the Israeli military.
Right. So these people that's talking about what they don't want to give away, what they don't want their money to go towards, their party is the ones trying to do this shit.
And I see somebody in the comments on Clapper says Obama funded in total for Israel's Iron Dome $1.3 billion in his presidency. Well, the whole $3.1 billion to Israel per year started in 2016, so maybe that was part of that. But the fact is, ever since Obama, all the other presidents been doing it too.
Right. We're just talking about the current arrangement that started in 2016 or 2018 or whatever.
Well, 2016, Obama didn't leave office until January 2017. So that deal that started in 2016 is going to be under Obama.
No, I think it was because it says it was a 10-year agreement that runs through 2028. So there was a different agreement. This is a new agreement. There have been agreements, that I don't know if they do 10-year increments or how they do it, but every president we've been paying Israel since right after the World War, since we've established them as a state. We've been paying them reparations.
Well, this one here, this article titled U.S. approves record $38 billion Israel military aid deal. This is titled 14 September 2016. So that's the end of Obama's term. But here's one of the things it says. It says the previous pact was set to expire in 2018, saw Israel get $3.1 billion annually. The new agreement follows 10 months of behind-the-scenes talks and will be signed on Wednesday. That would have to be Obama. Pro-Palestine, huh?
Okay, yeah. I agree.
So Obama did this. I mean, it ain't like the rest of them tried to stop it, though.
Right, he did the deal prior to it being over. So yes, he did.
Yeah, and there is in this same article. Here's a picture of Obama sitting right with Netanyahu hashing this bullshit out. You know the crazy thing is, if we're gonna have a president like Trump, if MAGA is going to be the savior of the day to get us out of a dumb deal, JCPOA, why not get us out of this shit?
Because we'd be damn the hell. Didn't you hear that? You're not listening to them. They told you anything that interrupts, that goes against the president or the government of Israel, you are damn the hell. And that is an amazing thing to say about a people or a religion who don't, they spit on Christians over there. They don't believe in the Bible. They don't. All of this shit is coming from people that don't fucking like each other. But it's a part of a memorandum of understanding. They call it. It's technically a non-binding executive pledge. We giving them this money off a pledge, not a law or nothing. It's a memorandum of understanding.
Can you imagine how much people behind the scenes are getting paid? There's so much room and skim off the top in that shit. You can only imagine. I mean, if we're making a deal, if Israel can convince us to give them, let's say Netanyahu Netanyahu convinced Obama which is what happened here, to agree to give them $3.1 billion a year. Shit, if Obama was like, I wouldn't mind a second home in Jerusalem, you got it, sir. I mean, like, there is so much money, so much room to skim off the top in this shit.
What did President Trump just say the other day? He said, I'm 99% in Israel. Maybe after I get finished here, I'll go be the president over there. The American first president said, maybe after I get done screwing you over, I'm going to go over there.
I mean, if I'm Netanyahu, don't worry about it. You got a home over here. Don't worry about it. Whatever you pick the city, send us the plans for the home you want. We'll make sure it's built by the time your term is over with.
Trump is not moving to the Middle East.
It depends on. No, wait a minute now. If Trump thought there was a genuine chance the Democrats was going to make him spend the rest of his life behind bars, Argentina also got their hand out. He gave him $40 billion. There's a lot of places he could go. I don't even think.
He's going to Russia, man. He's going to Russia. He's not going to the Middle East.
Oh, I think he would go to Argentina.
Well, Argentina is like, I don't know.
They have a past of being really kind to a bunch of white people.
To say the least, yeah. But I don't think he would go anywhere where he couldn't get fully protected by a large military. And he just would not be. He would not be safe in Israel if they can't block a couple of Scuds and a couple of drones that's blowing up places in Tel Aviv and
Netanyahu is safe. Anyway, before I let you go, I want to ask you about something. I'm just going to get your take on this before I move it on. Have you heard I'm sure you've heard about this. Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. There's a trial about to start on this, and it'll end up being lives. Have you heard about this case?
Yes.
What do you think?
Everybody heard about it.
Is Carmelo Anthony going to end up doing some prison time?
I don't know, man. Look, I've heard so many different perspectives because I've listened to the right-wing side, which is obviously, he was a black kid, so he had to be guilty of just coming to the place with a knife and just randomly stabbing somebody. Then I've heard stuff about he was being attacked by him and his brother, and that this had more of a background than we know. So it's going to depend on what the judge allows in this case. But it could go either way. I'm not going to say like he's just definitely going to be, because it is really high profile. It is really
very high profile. The crazy thing is the young man, Timothy, whatever his name is, that raped and murdered his own stepsister on the Carnival Cruise Line ship. This is more high profile than that. And there is a possible self-defense angle in this. I'm not saying what he did was not cold-blooded versus self-defense, but what the kid did on the Carnival Cruise Line is cold-blooded rape and murder. And this is getting more attention than that.
It sounds a little bit like that guy years ago that got off on the excuse that he had affluenza.
Oh my God! He ran over killed 4 people or something like that.
He had so much privilege that he didn't even realize what right and wrong meant. So we just let him go home, man. Just let the guy go home and see his people before he's got to do some time. We know this dude is guilty.
Killed 4 people. Killed 4 people and got off with affluenza. Not a word, not a peep out of MAGA. I got to move it on, didn't Cal? Crazy shit. We'll certainly be talking about this in the future. Thanks for coming through. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 85,000. Looking in the comments, by the way. Why do I keep saying I didn't mean to send an invitation. So somebody got an invitation that I was not trying to send. I'm just trying to scroll and it's hidden invitation. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 85,000, if you will. Yes, they do spit on nuns. What are you talking about? Who's spitting on nuns? Yikes. Is it Old or New Testament? You guys are talking about the Bible in regards to that. If we stop funding other countries, Trump will not reinvest back into the American people. Huh? Since Trump has became president, we ain't funding no damn body really but Israel. He loaned the Argentinians $40 billion or whatever the case, a loan, or did he give it to them, whatever the case may be. But shit, if anything, we stopped funding countries. We stopped helping the Ukrainians. We stopped USAID. What are you talking about funding other countries? I think we've done just the opposite. In the comments, who said, oh my God, maybe I've been on too long. In the comments, under the holy order says, are you the devil? Are you a devil? Yikes. A felon married to an immigrant is telling us that the problem is immigrants and felons. Wow, not a bot GPT. That's strong language. He's saying that President Trump, who just happens to be an official felon and officially married to an immigrant, is actually telling us that the problem is immigrants and felons. That's interesting. It's factual. That is what he's doing. Wow, that's a hell of a statement, but that is factual. Under the holy order says you're a bot. Okay, a bot that can reach your comment. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 85,000. Looking at help people out with the hat and mustache, TikTok cap goal, if you will. We'll go back to the box and make it happen with Twisted, one of my subs. Good evening, Twisted. Welcome to the program. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, man.
Hey, what do you think is going to happen in this case?
Man.
Carmelo gonna do a bid? Football numbers?
It's looking like it, though. It's because, as usual, we are painted to be, lower class citizens.
Why did he show up but why would he show up at high school to a track meet with a knife on him?
Either somebody got to him and they got inside his head and they kind of hit the wrong button, so the brother's like, hey,
So he lost his out, so you make it sound like you're saying he lost his cool. Sound like you're trying to say he lost his cool.
Yeah, like, he was thinking, well, hey, if you're gonna do this, I'm about to bring this and we about to go out, so.
That sounds like prison time to me, Twisted.
Yeah. It's rough though, and it is sad, but hey, like that's I am hoping that it won't, but
Do you personally, despite how you're saying it sounds, do you personally think what he did was an act of self-defense? You're the judge. You're the judge, and they've decided to forego a jury. They're going to present their case and leave it up to you. Do you think that this kid should get off? That ain't sad. You're not making his parents feel easy at all with this. Shit. I'm starting to see an orange jumpsuit the way you moaning over there.
Oh, my child, oh, my baby, no.
Yes, I mean, seriously, is he an actual murderer in your opinion?
As I said, it depends on how he was raised.
What the hell does that got to do with it? He stabbed somebody and killed him. We're past the point of him being raised. He's a grown man at this point.
Yeah, but okay. Let's just say, who was he hanging out with?
Your Honor, Your Honor, we asked you if this is a guilty guy or not. It sounds like you're making excuses, Your Honor. We object. We don't have the right to object to judge, but we're objecting you. We need to know if our kid, that being Austin Metcalf, if our child is going to get justice, Your Honor. Is this guy what we believe he is, a cold-blooded killer?
I would ask, and I would say, how much do you love your son?
Well, Your Honor, Austin Metcalf was our son, and we love him so much we just went and put flowers on his grave yesterday. Can we get justice or not, Your Honor?
Yes.
Wow. Let me go ahead and pat myself on the back. That was good work. Good work. That was really good. Okay, all right. So Carmelo Anthony about to do a bid. Damn. Well, listen, I'm sure there will be unlimited money put on this book, so he will do it. But he is in Texas, man. Texas don't play around with this shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. See, the thing is though, every state is very different though. So some states are hard, some states are less, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, if the judge, and if we can judge this person and put them in prison and do all this, then why are we giving money and giving a whole lot of stuff to the January 6th people? Like, that just doesn't make any sense though. Like, wrong is wrong, right is right. Like, how is that? Like, let's just make sense out of that.
It doesn't. You're not going to get it to make sense. Only way it makes sense is you got to view MAGA as right always, and some of these other folks, like this colored gentleman, this colored young boy here, is doing something that's wrong. But no, it does not make sense to give any type of money to look. Because a lot of folks believe that some of those folks on January 6th got wrongfully penalized. They were only on the lawn, or they didn't go into the building or whatever. Fair enough, but my point is this: President Trump himself, if you're going to show favoritism to these people, you should have put together a team. I want you to go and find the ones that were railroaded. Make sure you look out for them. But the ones that are on video pepper spraying and bear spraying cops and beating them with flags, make sure they're not in that crew. I'm pretty sure I can get MAGA behind me to support the ones that were looking out for the cause and didn't really do anything and they got railroaded. But for him to just say, fuck it, pardon everybody, and then later on, a few years later, now he's talking about giving money to everybody. No, that doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to give money to cops who are sacrificing their lives, their family, and they are on the front lines protecting the Capitol, but then we want to give criminals pardon, and then not only that, they let Tina Pierce go today without any question, without any word, man. And I'm like, what?
Well,
I need to.
What becomes apparent is that if you are working on behalf of Trump, Trump has your back. Doesn't matter what you do, even if you fuck up. Same thing with ICE when they were in, Minnesota, and they're deeming all of the people they killed as automatically calling them domestic terrorists, which is very strong language for resisting arrest. I've never seen anybody resisting arrest be called a domestic terrorist. So what the Trump administration is pretty much announcing is, if you are fighting on behalf of what we stand for and fighting on behalf of us, we have your back. That's what they're announcing.
Right. Yeah, but I just don't see how can you have a back of hardened criminals.
Because they're fighting for your cause. They're fighting for your cause. No different than the folks that
made... But the thing is, though, the January 6 people are not fighting for us. They are fighting for white people only.
But that's who's looking out for them, Twisted. It ain't us. Man. That's who's looking out for them.
Man, dude, wow.
I mean, can you imagine, though, first under the Biden administration, wondering, like the leader of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, one of them got 18, one of them got 22 years, so they both got football numbers. They're sitting there wondering if they're going to rot away under the Biden administration. And here comes Trump, not only with a pardon, but now he's promising a check. Like, I mean, that's good shit. That's a hell of a turnaround. You went from wondering if you're going to rot away in prison and now wondering if you're going to buy a bigger home.
And Trump, dude, oh man, it makes no sense. Like, oh man,
that's our president, though. That's our president.
No, no, he's your president, not my president.
No, he is our. That is who we as Americans voted in. We voted him in, and it wasn't like he wasn't promising to do this shit already.
I did not vote for a piss-shitting, fat ankle, alien ass a-hole, all right? He is carrying a piss bag in his coat. He wears diapers, all right?
Well, Gen X is listening to your conversation. Gen X on Instagram says, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Says our reparations are coming.
Yeah, that means hell on earth is going to come.
Well, you think if do you really believe that if Trump gives the January 6th or some kind of cash payments, do you think there will be hell on earth to pay? I don't know. I think he would get away with it.
I think that worse things are going to come, and I hate it though.
Like what?
And,
give me some examples of worse things.
Well, let's see. There's the Ebola virus that's going to spread.
You're not saying the Ebola virus is punishment for Trump giving J6 money, are you?
Yes, yeah.
Give me something else. Give me something else.
I think we're going to run out of gas probably soon.
I don't think we're going to run out of gas. It's going to cause you to run out of money. There'll be gas. You may soon be paying $5 or $6 a gallon for it. There will be fuel. You may run out of money just trying to buy it.
I would say we might start living underneath the city and
what the fuck? That's not gonna happen. You're paying the pit. Trump is not doing all of that to America. Trump made it clear he was here to make America.
Yes, he is though. Trump is for Israel. He doesn't care nothing about American people.
Yeah.
He said it plain and simple. It is crystal clear. And if you go to any MAGA person, they will sit there and say, "Oh no, man, they didn't. No, he didn't really say that." And then watch. Right after me, you will have crying baby MAGA reacts come up here. "Oh no, Tim, well, he didn't say that, man. Shut the hell up, man."
You are disrespecting the honorable MAGA reacts. How could you do such a thing?
No, that man is not honorable. The man is saying that he's white, man. Please.
Well, he's an Egyptian. I mean, he may be a little bit light-skinned. What did they say in Hustle and Flow? He's just light-skinned.
And the thing that I'm going to say to MAGA reacts is what Trump said. Drink some bleach. Drink some bleach.
Trump asked about Trump did not say that.
Ride the wave.
Trump
will just ride the wave.
Oh my God. In defense of the president, he did not say that. He asked a question. He was pondering whether disinfectant may have some effect on the virus. He didn't say drink bleach. That's a liberal creation.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
He said drink bleach. Yes, he did.
Oh, God, he didn't say that. I'll leave it at that. Twisted, you drive my audience well. You're always welcome on the program. Go ahead. Last word to you.
Last word is oh man, what is the last word? We just got to do better. And the thing that is grinding my thing is the last thing is. I don't know how Laura Boric can or Miss Hand Job. How can she still back the president though? It just doesn't make any sense.
They believe there's something personally in it for money, power, respect. To quote Lil Kim, that's what they believe. I gotta move it on. No Twisted.
She's a fine ass woman. She needs to be fingered.
Damn. I gotta go. Twisted, you are fucking crazy. Tap the screen. I can't believe you said that. Real quick, in regards to what you just said in the comments, DenCal, that was part of the main topic of the show, that Trump is dropping this anti-weaponization fund.
And is now facing several setbacks. A federal judge temporarily blocked further action on the nearly $1.8 billion pool of cash. Senate Democrats are set to introduce a measure to kill that fund today. The so-called Drain the Slush Fund Act would prevent taxpayer dollars from being paid to the president and his allies. Both Democrats and Republicans have criticized the fund, and that includes President Trump's former Vice President, Mike Pence. On Face the Nation, Pence slammed the potential compensation for Capitol rioters.
The idea of creating a fund that could compensate people who assaulted police officers and vandalized the Capitol that day is totally unacceptable.
Look at him looking like a real vice president, huh? From the outside looking in. But yeah, he's saying that it was totally unacceptable. What happened, and Denkel, you're right, Trump did draft this fund, $1.776 billion, and he was going to pay off the Proud Boys and all this shit. So Gen X, that make sure you note that your folks are not getting any reparations. The fund has been scrapped because Trump has indicated he's not going to continue pursuing it. And it wasn't that Trump drafted. I'm going to disagree with you slightly, Denkel, in saying that Trump is dropping the request. I think that they realized it was a losing battle. It was starting to piss off even Republicans. Like, how could you pay folks that are beating cops on camera? Like, you can't claim to be law and order or any of that shit going forward if you literally give money to people who are literally on camera beating the shit out of cops. That's about as disrespectful. You think defund the police? The stuff BLM does, you think defund the police is disrespecting cops, but giving cash to people who actually beat them up? It's crazy. So yeah, it started really becoming insane even to the right. I think the Senate was trying to stop this, but you heard what the Democrats are calling this. Drain the slush fund or whatever it was called. Let me hear that again. And you know what that's patterned after, drain the swamp.
Fund is now facing several setbacks. A federal judge temporarily blocked further action on the nearly $1.8 billion pool of cash. Senate Democrats are set to introduce a measure to kill that fund today. The so-called Drain the Slush Fund Act.
Drain the Slush Fund Act, because Trump promised to drain the swamp. So by calling it Drain the Slush Fund, they're kind of making it clear you're not draining the swamp. You're just doing more swampy shit. So they picked a very creative name for it, but it doesn't seem like Trump is going to pursue this. In my opinion, even if Trump doesn't pursue it, the Democrats should still pursue this act, because I've been saying this for quite a while now. There's going to be a series of legislation proposals to prevent any future president from doing a lot of stuff Trump has done. There's going to be all sorts of anti-Trump bills proposed. For instance, naming money after a living person. You should, or better yet, putting a living president's face on currency. Naming U.S. naval vessels after a living person. He's pushed the envelope in so many of these different areas. I think they're going to be passing all sorts of laws to prevent any future president from doing this. His pictures on passports. His picture or his name is on, if you go to a federal park, or what do you call those, like national parks, like Yosemite and stuff, he's on those park passes. Like, how is this still getting his name on all of this shit? So I do believe they're going to be making laws to prevent a future president from just trying to turn us into the United States of Trump. You know, you don't want a president doing all this stuff. I mean, he's not winning awards or getting accolades. He's just giving them to himself. And we're paying for all of this stuff. His name on a memorial while he's still alive. So yeah, I really believe that this Drain the Slush Fund bill or legislation that the Democrats are trying to pass, which will need some Republican support, and I think it has it. It's just a beginning. And once Trump is out of office, let's say a Democrat wins, it would be no problem getting these anti-Trump bills, because I don't think any Republican wants a Democrat president doing all the shit that we've let Trump do. You don't want a Democrat president naming all of DC after himself and, putting pools and ballrooms up, just doing everything on his own. He ain't getting no permission to do any of this stuff, just doing it on his own. So I do believe they're going to be passing all kinds of laws to stop that. Now, Trump isn't the first president to get us involved in a military conflict, but due to the level of what we've gotten involved in Iran, they're going to have legislation to prevent that from happening again. You got one dude talking about he's going to wipe the civilization of Iran off the map, and the whole country just like let's just standing by like, is he? I mean, we all just waited to see was he actually gonna do it. Congress, Senate, nobody did anything. It was literally up to him to let us know whether or not he was going to fulfill that promise of wiping their whole civilization off. You can't have one man with just doing all that shit. So, I really do believe that in the future they're going to be passing. It's going to start with this type of shit, and it's going to keep going. Certainly, if the Democrats win in the midterms, they're going to start passing all kinds of stuff. Because there's an F-47 jet that's coming out. Obviously, Trump. There's a Trump-class battleships. I mean, his birthday is always hosting big events. Last year was a military parade. This year is, a UFC fight on the lawn. Tesla's being sold. I mean, there's just so many things. Selling Teslas on the White House lawns. He's done so many things that you wouldn't expect a president to do. That, they're going to have to pass legislation to just say, you can't let anybody come in here and just do whatever the fuck they want. And I think it's mainly because we've kind of ran the country on the honor system. He's doing a lot of things I believe that nobody expected a president to do. Like, we don't need to pass a law against this. Nobody ever thought anybody would do this stuff. Well, he's showing you that somebody will do it. So, go figure. He caught for the Doomsday Plane twice. Do you know what the Doomsday Plane is? It has only one purpose. What do you mean by you said he caught for the Doomsday Plane twice? I don't quite get that. They always said the White House is the people's house, and I just don't know why he tore it down. He should be going to jail for that, and that was a historic East Wing, says Kurt. I wouldn't say he should go to jail for it, but I do believe he should have been stopped in regards to tearing it down. I don't think he should. I don't think the president alone should just be able to tear down the White House and put up whatever he wants. Same thing with the jet from Qatar. The president of the United States should not be flying around in an aircraft from a foreign country. We are Boeing. Have them make you some shit. I don't want to hear it's cheaper to get it from Qatar or any other excuse you come up with. America is a shining example of we can do anything we want. Build the next version, which I believe they're currently working on the third Air Force One. There's no need for Trump to have an Air Force One, a new one immediately. The one that we have is totally operable. My guess is the damn thing would continue flying for another 20 years if they needed to. But it is, a lot of the controls are not fly-by-wire and things like that. I get it. They want to update the jet. It doesn't have to be done immediately, though. Let Boeing make the one that will replace it in America with American parts and American labor. You don't buy some shit from a foreign country to put in the air. That just seems so un-American. And I do strongly believe that if Biden or Obama did that, the right would be saying the same shit I'm saying, is that you're flying a jet that's made in another country. There's nothing patriotic about that. But like I said, that's another anti-Trump law that will have to be passed, is that the leader of the country flies around in a jet made by the damn country. You don't buy some shit from overseas like that. That's crazy. You guys are crazy on YouTube. Somebody is rebuking me in the name of the devil. And this person has just got time and time on their hands just typing the asshole. Anyway, tap the screen. Get the likes up. We've been dealing with this crap for 10 years with this guy, even when he wasn't president. Yeah, well, people really like him, but look, I do believe that if Trump had simply governed on the campaign promises he actually made this second go round, I think he could have been viewed as a very effective president. Secure the border. I'm not a fan of all the anti-trans shit, but getting men out of women's sports is something that even a lot of Democrats like myself is okay with. I don't think it's anywhere near the issue Trump makes it out to be, but these are his campaign promises. Deport the rapists and murderers. Who's going to disagree with that? Secure the border. I don't see any problem with that. America first. On its face, I don't see any problems with that. What else did he? I'm talking about his campaign promises. Because what he is doing now is totally different than what he campaigned on. He didn't campaign on attacking and threatening to attack half the fucking world. He didn't. I don't think he campaigned on tariffing the whole planet. I mean, if he had done what he actually campaigned on, I think he would. There's still gonna be people who don't like him. You know, do what you campaigned on. Keep your ass off the fucking internet with all the unnecessary trolling and the posts you posted online that have nothing to do with making America great again, and you're making people hate you and shit. Get off the internet. Do what you campaigned on. I don't think he would have been a bad president. He would have been right wing, so the liberals are not going to like him for obvious reasons. But I don't think he would have been that bad. But when you get in there and your goal is just division and just saying shit to piss people off, then that's different. Happy Monday, everyone, says Cowboy Baby. Happy Monday to you too. Actually, right about now, we should be talking about getting rid of the Electoral College because that's how he got in, and he got in the first time. Hillary got the popular vote. Donald got the Electoral College. Here's the problem with that. I don't know if I totally agree with that, because if we go by the Electoral College, which means the popular vote, the sparsely populated states will never have a say-so. They will never have a say-so. I mean, the popular vote is in Democrat areas. That's where all the people are. There's just no other way around it. You know, a state like Montana or Wyoming or South Dakota or North Dakota, there's nobody there. There's nobody there. My guess is the city of Chicago or the city of LA probably has damn near the population of all those states combined. So I think the Electoral College has its place. I also agree with having 2 senators, even though a densely populated place like California versus a sparsely placed like Wyoming, but it makes it so it's equal. So that Wyoming, as a member of the union, has somewhat of an equal say as a state like California. Otherwise, why would I want to be part of the union if we don't get any say? You might start having states saying, fuck it, we would like to look into maybe secession. You know, we're never going to compete with California and Wyoming, and we don't live like they do. So we don't want them deciding how we live. The problem is, though, with Trump's gerrymandering, that's exactly what's starting to happen now. So that the people way outside of Memphis are now the ones that are going to decide what's happening in Memphis. So it's going to start happening to some degree. This guy is making up lies, not the truth, and lies to the public. Says he didn't. I wish you would state what the lies are. Maybe you could help me out. Gooshunt, or whatever your name is. Look, if I'm saying something that's not correct, feel free to correct it. You might be right, but just say you're making up lies doesn't say anything. Let me go back to the one and only Tamar, New Jersey's best. It tapped the screen, get us up over the 100,000 hump. Tamar, good evening.
What up, Tim?
Not much at all. So the slush fund is out. What did you think when you first heard that Trump was looking to potentially reward the January 6th protesters with cash after pardoning them?
I thought it was absolutely nonsense, crazy. I mean, for real. It didn't make any sense.
Well, you didn't hear a lot about
it. It was almost like he was trying to buy their loyalty to, do what I always be saying.
What do you mean?
If you catch my drift.
I want to catch it. Help me out. Explain it.
Huh?
Explain what you're talking about.
Well, I always be talking about how he's trying to do more than with with the taking over the government almost.
So then let me ask you, if you believe Trump is capable of staging a coup or an insurrection or whatever you want to call taking over the government, how do you think the midterms are going to go? Will this be a free and fair election come November?
What did he say? He said he don't care about the midterms. What makes somebody say something like that?
Trump says a lot of shit.
What it is, Tim, but I know it's something.
Do you honestly believe? Wait, hold on.
Right there, slapping us in the face.
Do you honestly believe, though, that Trump doesn't care about the midterms?
Yeah. Why else would you say that?
Well, first of all,
on national television.
Well, Trump Trump says a lot of shit on national television that turns out not to be true. Keep in mind, let me ask it to you this way.
That's true.
Let me ask it to you. Let's say the Democrats win both the House and Senate during the midterms. Well, what do you think's going to happen to Trump if the Democrats are in control?
He's building a fortress right in the White House. What is he doing on all that stuff that's being
It's not going to be built by November, though.
Yeah, that part I know.
Because they've already, I think the judge has already stopped them from doing that.
Damn, how you going to do it? How you going to stop it? The construction's already done. It's being done. They've already ripped down the East Wing.
No.
It's ripped. They got a big-ass hole in the ground.
No, the destruction. The destruction has been done. I think they've halted the construction.
Wasn't he just on TV like last week with a whole bunch of construction happening when he was walking through? Wasn't that just last week?
The guy is building shit all over DC. I don't know which site he was at. He's building a tribunal. He's painting pools. I mean, the guy's doing all kinds. The guy is literally renovating DC at our expense.
That's the crazy part. Like, he's been, like, it's almost like they try every little thing to just stretch everything. Like your mother tells you, you better not go outside. Oh, well, I can at least go onto some porch. She didn't say I couldn't do that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing.
What they're doing is like they just want, let's put my face on a passport. Let me sign money, or let me put my face on the $250 bill. But what they say, Democrats are communists.
Well, I don't think what Trump is doing is a sign of communism. To me, it's a sign of fascism.
I mean, don't they do that in China?
Yeah.
Isn't that how? Aren't they considered communists?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, it's basically like a dictator. He's basically in the opening stages of dictatorship.
Yes, it's hands down. All the signs are right there.
Yeah.
It's just smacking us in the face every day.
Well,
it's scary.
Perhaps the Republican Congress will eventually stand up and stop him.
Eventually, yeah. Man, look what happened. How many president? Tim, you're 53. You said?
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, 53.
I'm 48, and all my years of I don't ever remember a president getting somebody primary like he did the Massey guy.
Wow. Wow, he's getting a lot. I mean, that when you cross Trump, you're either going to get primaried or you're going to have to resign. I mean, there's a lot of people that have stepped down or got primaried because of him.
Like you said, he's threatening almost anybody. Like if you don't show loyalty to me, they said something about that too. Like that's crazy. Like how Congress and Senate is supposed to show loyalty to a president? Yes, you should be on their side, but loyalty, like the word as loyalty, is kind of strange to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, they believe that the Democrats are trying to destroy the damn country. Alter ego, appreciate the love. Thank you very much. They believe the Democrats are trying to destroy the damn country, and therefore they believe Trump is the salvation to what this country was meant to be. That's why they're willing to overlook a few things, because if you don't let Trump do it and you leave it up to the Democrats, your kids going to school a boy and coming home a girl. That's what they believe.
But it's not that. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. But
Trump actually said that you're
walking out as a boy and coming home as a girl.
He actually said that you send your kid home, you send your kid to school a boy, and 3 days later he comes home a girl.
And people believe it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even happen that way, but
it's impossible. It's physically impossible to do it. Not to mention, the parents are gonna be like, I ain't seen my kid since Wednesday. Where the hell is he? It's impossible.
And I was saying, that was me on Instagram, and I said, which scripture does it say that everybody's supposed to support Israel or protect Israel? Because they always say that, but they never said what scripture it is. Tucker asked Ted Cruz, and nobody has ever said what scripture it is.
Yeah, it actually does come up. Let me see. I'll play a quick clip of it, but it does come up, I believe, in the.
Is it in the Old or the New Testament?
Well,
because the New Testament is after the Messiah was rejected by Israel. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a fully.
The reason is twofold.
But from what I do know.
Okay,
ahead, you can play it.
Let's hear it, because I think he describes where it's at in the Bible.
Okay. And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the.
It's in Genesis, but
Genesis.
So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it, and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology. I'm confused. What does that even mean,
Tucker?
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel?
I mean, I got to get Tucker. I'm not a fan of Tucker whatsoever. I got to give him credit, because a sitting senator talking about using our military to defend what's in the Bible goes against every separation of church and state tenet I've ever heard. Like, this shouldn't come up. Nothing in the Bible should dictate how we use our military. It's insane that people do that.
Yes, and the crazy part is, Tim, like, I'm not biblical, but I did grow up like in church like you, and I do remember the Jews or the Israel people of Israel rejecting Jesus Christ, and I'm sure it's not in the New Testament, because the Jewish people don't follow the New Testament, because that most of that is with Jesus Christ in it. If I'm not mistaken.
This shit's complicated. I'm just gonna say it like that. The Bible should not be in the conversation whatsoever. What you believe should not result in people's kids going to war and dying. I just believe what you want to believe. Do that shit in your house. Do it in your church. Do it in your mind. But don't send somebody else's kid off to die because of that. I just separate church and state. And this guy, to me, having a sitting senator saying something like that should disqualify him from the position. You should not be able to be a politician after saying something like that, because he clearly is not separating church and state.
You forget about Lindsey Graham. He's just as bad.
Yeah, we played Lindsey Graham saying the same shit on here before. We have played him saying it too. He has said it as well. But to me, the minute you say something like this, you should be out of office. This goes against everything I've ever thought about church and state. You're clearly combining religion and how to run the state into one. And there's a lot of people in the military that are not Christians.
No, and you're right. And Tucker Carlson, he also interviewed this nun one time, and I think she was in Palestine, but I think she was somewhere else, because she was like a white person. Mm-hmm. But anyway, she was telling the story about how she was spit on by people of Israel because of Christians. They don't support Christians, and then you can see the things in Lebanon, what they're doing with the holy statues and stuff like that.
Wow.
The soldiers, like they don't have respect for the Christian for Christianity, but you're supposed to protect people that's disrespecting your religion. And I'm not saying I have anything against Jewish people. But I'm just saying, like, you get what I'm trying. The point I'm trying to make.
I get the point you're making. But here's what I don't understand. I think I mentioned this to one of my other guests. It might have been conservative, had some conservative or somebody. But I said that there's a whole lot of countries that follow the Bible in addition to America. There's plenty of Canadians that read the Bible. Plenty of Hispanics south of the border that read the Bible. Plenty of Western Europeans from the UK to Italy. All of none of them are saying this shit. None of them are using their military to defend Israel. It's just us. Like, all of these nations read the Bible too. Why aren't the Mexicans like, let's go over there and defend Israel or get them weapons and shit? So I'm thinking this
in our politics.
I'm thinking it might be a case of the Bible may be being misinterpreted. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's about money. They're in the pockets of both of Democrats and Republicans. AIPAC, that's why I said there should be no place in our government for foreign money to contribute to these people's campaigns. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That should not be allowed.
I don't disagree. In the comments, somebody said
a bunch of stuff with Trump.
Yeah, somebody in the comments said it was in Genesis, 12:1. I looked in Genesis. I'm not seeing it, but
Old Testament.
That's what that is?
Old Testament. That's the Old Testament. That's the first scripture, verse in the Bible. It's Genesis.
Yeah. It just should not.
It didn't matter. Like
it should not. It should not dictate.
Revolutions.
It should not dictate defense policy whatsoever. Nothing in the Bible, in my opinion, should dictate how we use our military for defense. It just, I think this stuff is from 2,000 fucking years ago. I think it's like some people brought up about, all the old stuff from reparations and all the old stuff from slavery. This is further back than that. And people are going to die for this? I think it's crazy. I think it needs to stop.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's not only scary, but people really believe and adhere to this. But I got to move it on tomorrow. I just hope that cooler heads prevail and eventually somebody wise up and stop this shit before Israel gets a lot of Americans killed.
Well, one thing, your boy Straight Talk, Coke Talk, he's on live right now. I guess he went and stole some of your shine and tried to go on afterwards. But for what he said about if somebody, whatever the hell that comment, that's sick. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. He almost was sounding like Duke. He was sounding pretty bad. Man, I was surprised to hear him saying that stuff.
I see. I think that was grounds to actually dismiss him for that one.
Yeah, he was almost sounding like a predator. Like, man, I told him, I said, I wouldn't expect you to say all this. He was defending some pedo stuff.
What's wrong with it? He said, what did he say? He said every man has looked at
a 10 to 12 year. He said every man has looked at
when she becomes an adult.
Wow. That's crazy for him to say that every man has looked at a child between the ages of 10 and 12 and thought that at least one of them was attractive and thought, I can't wait, if she was 10 years old, I would be doing her. I've never looked at a 10-year-old and saw anything attractive about him.
That's like him saying, my daughter's friend, when she gets older, I'm going to get her. Like, that's wow.
I couldn't believe it. I know he's MAGA. I know he's.
Back to your archives.
Yeah, I know he's. Well, I mean, yeah, you'll see it because it'll come up. I guarantee you because I'm going to, I do clips out of my shows. I'm sure that's going to be one of them. But I'll tell you, he's hardcore MAGA. He's far right. I don't mind MAGA coming on the show, but most MAGA don't defend pedophilia behavior like that. I was really surprised he said that, but. It is what it is. Tomorrow I got to move on. Thank you for coming through as always.
Hey, Tim, one more thing.
Real quick.
One more thing, Tim. I think you can't make comments on here unless you're a subscriber on this page.
I was wondering what the hell happened. I was wondering. Okay, well, it must be. I didn't try to turn it on. I must have had it turned on from last time. Well, I'll make sure it turns off after this live. I was wondering what was going on. So fair enough.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people aren't in that normally are.
Yeah. My bad. I mean, I got so many folks coming across the other platforms. I guess I didn't notice it as much, but I did notice that the comment section wasn't going crazy like it always is. So we'll fix that. Tomorrow, thanks for coming through.
No doubt.
Appreciate it. And I don't think I can do that while the show is going, so I may have to reset it. Wasn't Christ of Jewish descent? I don't know. I just don't think any of that stuff should be what causing us to go to war in modern times. I don't know what Christ was or what the sin was, but in 2026, I don't think anybody should be going to war based on what's in the Bible. I just vehemently disagree. I'm gonna go ahead and reset this stuff and see if we can start back up with